Hello, everyone. It's Wednesday again, and it's episode 33 of the Delboy and me chatting together. And here he is, Delboy.
Well, the man himself, Benny Hill. No,
Benny Hill. I wish I was as funny as he was.
Who are you, Henry McGee?
Yeah. Anyhow, well, how are you? You all right?
Yeah, I've had an interesting day, which I'll leave to my blog, but all in all, I'm all right. I just still need to get my sleep. So, we're going to try and keep things going as fast as possible. We might need to end about 11 or 12. We'll see how things go. But all in all, I'm in good spirits. That's the best way to put it, I think.
Yeah, all I can say is a bit parky. That's all it is.
Parky?
A bit parky, lad.
Yeah, but you're bloody used to it, aren't you? You're up north.
Plumbing dressing gown on, and
you're in that. You're in that. You're that much closer to Alaska than I am. So there you are.
Oh dear. Right then. So the normal brilliant question I ask is, Bayek lad, what have they been watching?
Bloody hell. Well, I'll tell you what, it's actually not about what I've been watching, I suppose. It's more about what's arrived. And tell you what, it's a shitload.
Oh, God.
I'll try and go through them as quickly as possible.
It's all right.
This was in my blog, but I'm really happy to put Frasier on. It's all 11 seasons on Blu-ray. So I'm really looking forward to that. That was an expensive set, that was. And another one is Columbo. That's the second part of Columbo. It's the ones that are the final years, because they split it into two. So I've got them all now on Blu-ray, those. What else? House of the Dragon season 2 turned up. I think that was in my blog. I think I mentioned that one.
Yeah.
And I think Train Spotting as well.
Yeah.
4K. Steelbook, which is lovely. It's a lovely Steelbook.
Yeah.
I mean, my God, it's a good film. I mean,
Yeah.
Every time I put it on, I keep thinking of my friend Mainmeister because it's in Scotland. By the way, speaking of that, my mate turned around and said, you couldn't show a more dozy picture of me in your bloody snapshot. And you look sharp and I look blurry. Thanks very much.
Oh dear.
This was really cheap. And I checked and I only had a DVD copy, so I've upscaled it, and that's Warlock, the trilogy Warlock.
Oh, I've not heard of that.
So I'm glad about that because it's obviously it's got Richard E. Grant in it, and Julian Sands in the first one.
Yeah,
and it's got a Jerry Goldsmith score.
There we go.
I had to mention that. So Warlock, I told you about this just before we came on. I have no idea why I've ordered this. Juggernaut.
Yeah,
no idea. All I know is that it's a Richard Lester film. It's got Richard Harris in it, Omar Sharif, Anthony Hopkins, David Hemmings. So I'm really, really looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Juggernaut.
Yeah.
That turned up today.
Perhaps you're going a bit senile like I am. I'm already.
I reckon when I was on that operating slab, they sort of like took away brain cells or something. I've always been told though that if I had another brain cell, it'd be lonely.
Oh,
so, or when God said brains, I thought he said trains, and I caught a slow one.
Oh dear, the joke! Oh dear. Oh, the jokes are really going down.
This turned up as well, the Richard Pryor collection.
I've seen people showing that off.
So that's turned up. I'm looking forward to that as well. It's a shame it hasn't got a couple of others that I'd have liked. But it's still got a couple of really good ones on there. One that a few people are aware of that I had to go to Scalpers for, which was Terminator, because Amazon cancelled last week. And
they did.
And then HMV on Monday put it up saying that they got more copies of it, bastards. Which at the end of the day, to be quite honest, I'm okay with, because there's a friend of mine, a friend of both of ours actually,
Yeah.
Pete, he ordered his from HMV and it's got a dent in it.
Ah.
So I think
Yeah.
this is perfect. There's no dents or anything. It's absolutely spot on. So
Fantastic.
in many ways, I'm okay with that. A film that I think divides people, which is the special edition of Oppenheimer.
All right. Yeah.
So I can get rid of now of one of my copies of Oppenheimer because it's the same steel book, which means I can give it to my friend Denny.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
he gets his new telly. He gets his new telly in a couple of weeks, so he'll get a nice 4K copy.
He'll enjoy that. Yeah.
So I'm quite happy that I buy things like this, because this one will become the one that I've got, and the other one I give to my friends, which is which is what I tend to do. I don't sell them on. I give them to people. And the last one, and I believe it was Muckman Movies that mentioned this, I decided to get Seven Samurai.
Ah, yes. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he mentioned that's coming out, Del. And I went, oh, if it is. And he said, I recommend that you get that.
Yeah.
And if I remember rightly, I ordered the Magnificent Seven on Steelbook from America at the same time.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, the Magnificent Seven turned up before this did. So
yeah.
So that's one heck of a haul.
Have you watched anything on
I'm
TV?
just trying to think, because I've been going to sleep earlier at night, but I'm waking up earlier in the morning. So generally, when I wake up in the morning, it's usually about 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. Frasier's on, and then it goes into Cheers. So I've been watching those. But I have been watching, the odd thing. Like I said, Warlock came on, and I went, oh, I haven't seen Warlock in ages. And then I ordered it, you see. So I watched Warlock. That was on. I'm pretty sure I have seen a number of things, films that have been on. I watched Nautilus. I finished Nautilus.
Oh, right. Yeah.
The TV show. I watched it all.
Yeah.
It's worth watching, but it's not something that I'd buy on even physical media if it came out.
Yeah. A one-time watch.
Yeah. Penguin's the same. I got to the end, and even though I was impressed with the Penguin, I think I wouldn't buy that.
Yeah, because I noticed they're releasing that on Blu-ray.
Oh, it is, and it's 45 quid.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is that it apart from a couple of character episodes, where they concentrated on one character, which I really, really like when they do that.
Yeah.
It's basically just gangsters. Oh, you're doing this, you're stepping on my turf, all this, blah, 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 blah. And once you therefore know what's going on, you just go, right. And I'd need to see now season 2, and then I'd need to watch it all, and then say, I want to buy a big box set of the lot. Then I might do it. But after watching season 1, I'm going, I'm quite looking forward to season 2 coming out on broadcast, but it doesn't excite me to go and buy the steelbook.
Yeah.
For all I know, that I'll buy the steelbook of it, and they cancel the bloody series because it didn't get watched, and then I'll only have one season of it. What a load of shit that is!
It can easily happen. Happen.
So Muckman's just turned up. By the way, Muckman, thank you very much about the Seven Samurai. I've just shown a copy of that. Look, I'll show it up again. Look. It was his fault that he asked me. He told me to order that. So there you are. So just to let you know that I'm so happy that people, tell me about films that I ought to get, and then I go out and get them. You know what I mean? I try to listen to you guys, and I try and watch as much as I can, but I'm catching up slowly. So anyway, what was I telling you what I was watching? So I watched Nautilus. I've watched the end of the second season of Frasier, the new one. I've watched Penguin.
Yeah.
And I think other than that, I watched a dramatization of Mike Tyson called Mike.
Oh, right, yeah.
Which was half an hour long, 8 episodes. And, it was fun to watch, but again, it would be something where I'm going, right, my dad and I used to think that Mike Tyson was a bloody animal. Right, it was like a gorilla in there. He just did overhead hooks. It was almost like you just didn't know what to do with him because he was just too fast, and he knocked everybody out in one round because nobody knew how to handle him until you wrestled him and basically kept him at arm's length, and then he was tired out, knackered.
Yeah.
And of course, Mike Tyson was in a fight this weekend, so I watched the end of the fight. That is it, matey. I'm not going to talk about anything else.
Okay. Yeah,
I've been listening wise. I've been listening to the Alan Parsons Project.
All right, yeah.
I've been going back over my albums. I listened to Pyramid, Ammonia Avenue, Turn of a Friendly Card, a couple of others albums. They've been great. Fantastic, that's really sort of like cheered me up to listen to because they're all there's some songs on there, but I love the instrumentals. So now let's listen to your shit. I mean,
okay, I'll see what shit I've had. I've actually had
I should think you're ecstatic, aren't you? Because I think Thai Food Tea have gone into receivership. That just leads your Yorkshire tea and PG tea. I think that's
Well, I've actually had some through post, which doesn't often happen this week. I obviously had this Blake 7. Everybody knows about Brilliant series.
Have you watched any of it yet?
No, I haven't. I'm going to get round to it. I'm looking forward to rewatching it again.
I mean, I'll repeat again. Basically, I think it's the best that you're going to get.
Yeah,
it's a video show.
Yeah.
When there's a lot of green screen going on, it's got some haziness. You can see the artification, where between what a set is and what the green screen was, and of course you can't help but have it around, over, where he got curly hair,
Yeah.
So you can't help it with Blake a little bit.
Yeah.
But I will say this: for $39.99 with all the extras plus the booklet,
it looks pretty good.
I think I don't feel ripped off.
No.
I'm only mentioning that again just purely on the basis that that's my opinion.
Yeah.
Now, I do know that nobody is wrong. If they turn around and say that they're not impressed with it, I just turn around and go, do you know what? You're not wrong.
Yeah.
If the BBC had the money like Paramount do to do what Star Trek is, then all I'm saying is you would have an absolute stellar version of it because they would have all the equipment and all the money thrown at it. Do you know what I mean? All the model work would have been done in CGI, and it would have looked. The Liberator would have looked like, wow, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To me, you've got the old edition, plus you've got the new edition, and you've got all the extras, plus the booklet, plus 6 discs in a gorgeous.
You can't go wrong. You can't.
$39.99. No. You buy the Star Treks, and they're $49, $59.99.
Yeah.
Extra £20. As far as I'm concerned, I think season 2 will look even better than season 1.
Yeah.
By the time you get to season 4, it's going to look stunning.
Fantastic. I'm looking forward to it.
That's how I look at it.
Yeah. Anyhow,
Doctor Who's the same.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
If you look at the early editions, they're so much better than the newer ones.
Yeah. So what else? Yeah, and this arrived as well. Kez.
I guessed right, didn't I? I said, I bet you it's Kez.
Yeah, it's just it's a nostalgia trip back to school. When we did it at school.
And I looked after I guessed right.
Yeah.
And I've got the DVD copy, and it's got a bloody great scratch on it, so I've got to buy it.
Oh yeah.
So I need to buy Kez.
Yeah, it's
great. I only had a DVD copy on it anyway, and it's got a bloody great.
I got this on HMV sale.
I think I bought it from Kex, and it was from a year ago, and I didn't check it. And of course, when I've opened it up, it's got a scratch. I do have ways to get rid of that scratch because I've got a proper professional CD thing.
Yeah.
But I think it's wise that I'm just going to get the Blu-ray. Why not?
Yeah.
It's a brilliant film.
It looks good. Look how good it looks. And
Yeah. Where did you get yours from? Did you get it from? Where did you get it from?
HMV.
Yeah, so I might look on there.
They've got a BFI sale. Oh no, Eureka! This is Eureka. They've got a Eureka sale. Yeah.
So I might order that at the end of this.
Yes, it's well worth getting there.
Yeah.
What else to say? Oh yeah. Now these were recommendations of Jamie Muckman Movies. I picked these up. They were only about $1.99 each DVDs. This A Tale of Two Sisters. I'm really looking forward to these Japanese horror. I mean, $1.99. You can't really go wrong.
Wow, $1.99.
Yeah, and then this, The Eye, which is the original one. Again, he recommended this, and again, this was only $1.99. So I thought I'd get that. So yeah, Jamie's in here anyhow. But yeah, great recommendations. Thank you. And then
there was a joke I was going to play on you today. I walked past a charity store and I walked into the charity store. And do you know what was right at the top of the DVD pile list?
Go on.
A DVD copy of 2001, and I was going to take a picture and say, I've got your Christmas present.
You cheeky bugger! Oh dear. Oh.
It was only 25 pence. I thought I'll buy that.
Rigsby in space. Yeah, Rigsby in space. Yeah. Let's see. Now I watched this one last night. Ransom.
Brilliant film.
Sean Connery and Ian McShane, and it's excellent. Loved it.
That's where he interrogates him, isn't it? In that room, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a bit funny in places, but I enjoyed it. It's like I was saying.
Where did you get that? Where did you get that from?
Now where? Yeah.
Oh yeah, I wonder if it's Tony Bleeding York again.
Yeah, he sent me a few, and I'm working through them, and they're really great films. This is
sorry, I've got his name wrong. It's that bastard Tony York.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the full title.
And now there's other films.
I need to get that because I've watched that on Legend about 3 times in the last year.
Yeah,
and it's a great film because he really does interrogate him. He's really nasty in there.
He is. It's such a good film. I love it. Absolutely. And Ian McShane as well as the baddie hijacker.
Yeah, he's sweating in it, and he's going, I don't know why you're having a go at me. You don't know why I'm having a go at you. You know full well why I'm having a go at you.
So, what else did I watch? Now I watched, I think one of my films is going to be on my list of films of the year, which is Speak No Evil. James McAvoy stars in it. It comes out in a couple of weeks on Blu-ray. I don't know if it's got a steelbook release. I don't know, but honestly, it is one of those films that keeps you guessing, keeps you really involved. I was on edge of my seat. It really is a good film, definitely. And it's James McAvoy's performance is fantastic. He's basically a serial killer, and fantastic performance. One of the performances a year.
I think I ordered that, as a big like hardcover version.
Yeah. Oh, I hope so, because I think you'll love it. It's honestly a great performance. I think his performance just outstanding.
Yeah. I like McAvoy anyway.
Yeah. Then I watched The Exorcist Believer, and I like that. I thought it was a good. Obviously, it's not the original, which is such a classic, but for one of these sort of follow-up kind of films, I thought it was really good. I enjoyed it. The atmosphere, everything about it was good. And then there was another one which fascinated me, which I managed to watch, was Apartment 7A, which is a prequel to Rosemary's Baby. Wow, the detail that they'd gone into, it was just brilliant. Obviously, Rosemary's Baby is such a classic that it's not that. But for one of these things that they've done, I thought it was really good. It's the story before Rosemary's Baby. It ends where Rosemary's Baby starts, and it's fantastic.
Yeah.
The period detail, what they've done with this story, I really was impressed with that. And then it's time for rant time against films that I was disappointed that I watched. Firstly, Joker 2. What a load of
No, I turned round and I said
yeah,
that
it's
I
really
said that Jamie really loved it.
yeah.
Josh hated it.
Yeah, I
Pete
can
was in
understand.
two minds and said, I can see
Yeah,
that being a classic in a couple of years.
no, I don't
And
think so.
I turned around and said, I've not really got any opinion on it because I'm not a
Yeah,
Joker fan, and
yeah,
I didn't bother or care about the music that's in it.
yeah. I don't think it's
And
that though.
and the only reason that I'll have a steelbook of it is because I've got the first one on
Yeah.
steelbook.
What I don't like about it is that it devalues the first film. The first film is
Right.
a really good, and this it devalues it totally, and that's what I don't like about it. Then I watched a film. It's a German film called Cuckoo, which I've heard a lot of people talking about,
Yeah,
and I
Cuckoo,
thought,
I've heard a lot of people
and
talk about, yeah.
it's a pile of pretentious rubbish. I'm just gonna be honest about it. It's
Oh,
just,
who was it that said it was great? And I was
and
going, you know what? I'm
well,
really intrigued
it's
now to
one
know
of
whether it's
those
any good or
things
not.
that you think it's, when you get down to it all, it's a load of nonsense. I don't mind weird sometimes, but this is just, it's pretentious because it's trying so hard to be this different, edgy film, and it's not. It's just rubbish. I just have to say it. And then finally, the biggest disappointment, and I realize a lot of it is to do with me, is I watched Deadpool and Wolverine. God, that was awful for me.
Yeah, that's where I'll
I
be
just
divided
no
with you.
longer like it.
That's where I will be divided with you because
I
yeah,
know
I
you
like
will.
that.
I know you.
I
I
like
heard
that.
you. You went to see it at
Oh
cinema.
no, it's not that. It's just that Marvel had got a bad rap up until that point. This film took an absolute age to come out with.
Yeah,
Marvel only brought out what 1, 2 films this year. One actually, one.
yeah, they
Just
are.
this
Yeah,
film.
yeah,
And the opening sequence to me was enough. The constant bringing in different characters was fan service, and I
yeah,
didn't care less about that.
yeah,
Um, to me, it was better than 2, not as good as 1.
yeah. I think we may. I think what has happened to me. It's just personally what's happened. I think to me, I've just got so fed up with Marvel.
Yeah, fair
I
enough.
don't care anymore. And I watched this and thought, I don't care about this film. I don't give it. I don't like it. I just didn't like it. I was waiting for it to finish. I did. I didn't. I nearly switched it off. I was bored with it, and I don't get bored
Yeah, fair
often
enough.
with it. It
I know.
it just didn't mean anything.
I can actually see it. Some people came out saying exactly the same as what you
Did
said.
they? Oh,
I came out going, it's a popcorn film,
yeah.
and there's very little story in it.
That's it. Yeah.
But it's not about the story. It's about the characters. It's the
But
interaction
I
between.
don't maybe like him as a character, Deadpool. In
Well,
fact,
Deadpool is what they call the merc with the mouth. All he
yeah,
is a guy that can't die, and he
yeah.
shoots his mouth off because he can't die.
Yeah, he gets bored. I don't like it. Yeah. In fact,
The reason the first film works is because there is a bit of a backstory and there's a bit
yeah,
of solidity in regards to what that character is, and it's lost in the second and third ones because now you don't need to touch upon that. He's just a quick-witted bastard,
yeah.
which you couldn't care less about. Really.
I think what's
Um,
happened though, is with me, just on a personal level, is that I've just got so fed up of Marvel. It's done it. This is just watched it and thought, well, why am I watching this? This is horror and just not for me. But I know there's still people who did actually love it and, well, not love it, but really enjoyed it. I couldn't even enjoy it. And in fact, what I'm going to do is, because I'm never going to watch Deadpool again. I've got the first two.
yeah,
Next time
yeah.
we're going to town to CEX, I'll take them in and get
Well, do you
some
know
money
what
and
I
get
would
some
do?
films I enjoy.
This is what I would do. If you liked the first one but didn't like the second one,
Yeah.
right? What
I
I
don't think
would
I
do
did
is
like it.
I'll do exactly what you just said. Take them both into Kex because
Yeah.
you'll get some money for them at
I
the moment.
will. So they're in 4K as well.
There
Yeah.
will be a free disc version, right, of all three
Yeah.
films, and
Yeah.
you're bound sure to see it for £1.50 or a fiver in about 5-6 years' time.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you could then buy it again, and it'll cost you £5, and you'll get all three films, and you've got the first one back, and you might look at the third one slightly better because Marvel might be. You see, I think Marvel's going to go ballistic next year. There's going to be a ton of shit, right? Coming out, a ton of it, right? They've already released their release schedule of Marvel stuff, right?
Oh,
but it's
dear.
mostly TV. Mostly TV.
Is it? Yeah. There's a Captain America, isn't there, next year?
Yeah.
Yeah. That'll be their big film.
The Fantastic Four.
What I'm worried about is that Captain America is one that I really liked, but I'm worried that I'll watch this new one and it'll be put me right off again because I'm just not in that mood. I see it and I think, oh God, it's Marvel again.
Take yourself away from Marvel for about 6 months and then come back.
Yeah, I just don't want.
Don't even get enticed to actually watch it. Just give it 6 months and then go back and say, I fancy it.
Yeah, I got rid of Thor, and I'm quite happy with that. I never liked Thor.
Oh, I hated all of the 4 movies.
I got rid of them.
Apart from the first one, I don't really get on with.
I just thought, well, there's no point in having them.
Thor for me works when he's with other people, and that's a shame because Thor should work as an individual character.
Yeah,
but apart from the fact that he was in the last 2 sort of like films that ended it all, Endgame and all that sort of stuff. He was teaming up with Guardians of the Galaxy and all of this sort of stuff, and I'm going, what's all this?
I just had enough of it all. I think you're right. I think I need a total rest from.
That's what I think because at the end of the day, you just turn around and said about Penguin, about Joker. And the thing about it is it just like that. I think you'll probably say the same about DC stuff that comes out this year. You'll probably go, you know what? I watched this and I'm just not into it.
Yeah.
Don't get like that.
Yeah, I don't want to.
Just stay away from it for 6 months. And then watch it when you're in the right mood.
What has DC got coming out then next year? Have they got anything?
I think there's Superman stuff. Coming out.
Oh, you see, that's going to immediately. A lot of people are going to think, "Oh, we can't wait to see that." And I
think they're pushing ahead with that because Christopher Reeve's documentaries come out.
Yeah,
it's got people excited again about Superman.
Yeah, well,
which is good, but the documentary wasn't supposed to do that. The documentary is a very heartfelt story about Christopher Reeve. Which is I've seen it and it's brilliant. Right?
Yeah.
He made Superman, and to me it proves just how good a 70s film could be and why stuff in the 2000s is shit.
Yeah,
because I look at that and I go, wow.
Yeah,
I really did believe a man could fly when I saw that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was a film that was about 2 hours, 20 minutes long or something as well.
I remember it as an event.
I didn't feel like my heart was going to sleep or anything.
I saw it at cinema and it was one of those event films. You was excited by it. It was.
If you asked me to watch the Superman films with Roth in and all of this sort of stuff, I just go, what?
Yeah.
Man of Steel and all of this sort of stuff. The Snyder cut, Batman versus Superman. I just go, I just go, they're okay to watch, but to be quite honest, I couldn't get less if I hadn't seen it.
Yeah, I've got that one, Batman and Superman. And there's different cuts of it, isn't there?
Yeah, there's a 3-hour version.
I know. I don't think I've got that, thank heavens. I think that was enough. It's like, how many versions of Apocalypse Now have you got?
Me. I'm big on Marvel, and I'll big it up, and I'll turn around and say you're totally wrong about this, you're totally wrong about that. And at the end of the day, even I'm a person that just goes, look, if you're not in the right mood for something, then there's no point watching it.
No, you can tell that. You just know. You just have that feeling. I watched it, and I thought, Marvel for me and not like they were. You know, they were exciting when they first came out. Those films, Iron Man and
But I'll tell you what,
Avengers.
it wasn't even that for me. For me, it was about the Marvel Cinematic Universe tried to do something different. They basically they put these little bits at the end of the credits, right? And that was hardly ever heard of. It's been done, but it was hardly ever heard of. They tried to tie the movies together to entice you to watch the next film, which is all going to interconnect, right?
Yeah.
And as a jigsaw puzzle, it worked. But the trouble is they saturated and saturated and saturated.
Yeah.
When that ended, when those two Avenger films came out and it was Endgame, that's where, as far as I'm concerned, that's where it should have ended.
Yes, yeah.
And if they were going to do more films, it shouldn't have been this interconnection thing. It should have been one-off films that come off. But the trouble is, it's called greed.
Yeah. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, we're cooking on gas now. Let's bring out 3 a year, shall we? We're going to call it Phase 4 or 5.
Yeah, that's it. Even that. There's a sort of
special effects are going to be like this, and it's going to be all sort of like Inception and all of this sort of stuff. And I'm going, shit.
And then they introduced the Eternals, was it? Which was just that was a real low point. The Eternals. They thought they'd get a follow-ups. You know, they must have had this meeting and thought they were going to have loads of films.
Eternals has got one thing going against it from my point of view. Now, I'm a big Marvel person.
Yeah, I know you are. Yeah.
Eternals was drawn by Jack Kirby.
Yeah.
Jack Kirby was called King of Comics, right? He drew back in the 40s, and he drew all this lovely stuff, right? And his medium was color and inking and all of that sort of stuff, right? All gorgeous stuff, right? You hire a director that basically uses a limited color palette. She uses browns, whites, blacks, yellows. Well, that's against everything Kirby would ever do, because he does all reds and golds and greens and crackly cosmic energy and all of this sort of stuff, right? So all I'm saying to you there is that it's just really the wrong thing to do. You got an award, an award-winning director that doesn't get the medium. Now you've got to make a choice. Do you want an award-winning director, or do you want the right director that will do what Kirby would have wanted?
Yeah,
and that's where they went wrong. So Eternals to me is an okayish film, but it's pointless because it doesn't even do what Kirby did in all of his sort of like drawings. So waste.
Yeah.
The Eternals were around before dinosaurs. They're gods.
Oh gosh, yeah.
That's what the Eternals are. So it should have been an interesting story because they created the seed that is man. Yeah.
Yep. Right.
Let's get to the comments. Have you got some music to talk about? Or we're going to get some comments in?
Yeah, I don't want to go on too much, but he's an artist that I really like a lot. I saw her in Old Grey Whistle Test in the early 70s. It's Emmylou Harris. Now, people are going, Emmylou Harris? Boy, heck, what's that? She's really comes from country American folk roots, and sort of she's got this sort of country rock, brilliant, and she's a great interpreter of songs. She's still going. I respect her so much as an artist. I absolutely love her. I think she's great. And I saw her in about 1972, 73. I'd never heard that kind of music like that. Country, I always had as, oh dear, it's a certain image, really bad image. She was on, and you knew exactly where you were. She had a band that really rocked. They were called the Hot Band, and they did a lot of live shows, I think, on Old Grey Whistle Test, I seem to remember, over years. They were a fantastic band, and it made you appreciate and understand where sort of music like this came from, the folk roots. And she's a great artist, great respect for her throughout the industry. And she's worked with people like Linda Ronstadt who I really love as well, and fantastic artist. Anyhow, but that's who I've done a review of
funny
one of
you
her
mentioned
albums.
country, because ITVX, which I'm not a big fan of streaming services, they're heavily advertising Leonard Cohen's life with his wife.
Right.
It's called something like Goodbye Madeline or something
All
like
right,
that.
yeah.
That looks quite interesting,
Yeah,
because I quite like Leonard Cohen.
Yeah, he's somebody I've got in. I didn't used to be that interested, but in recent years, I've started to look a bit more at his catalogue and found him more interesting. I think, yeah, he's an interesting character. Yeah, sounds a good program. So I'll begin then with the comments.
Yeah, because I know my mate Steve, he's going to get pissed off if I don't.
And we've got Wee Bob Art saying, "Bye, Eck." Hey, lad. Those two again. Yeah. Hey, we're here.
I'm so glad Wee Bob Art's here. I like Wee Bob Art.
To stream.
I'll tell you what, he does fantastic drawings.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Great channel. Subscribe to Wee Bob Art if you can. Yeah. Danny says, "Hi, how are you all doing this week? I got the box set of Nightmare on Elm Street 4K box set of The Wizard of Oz 4K, a box set of The Seven Samurai on 4K. Now, I wonder who's got those as well."
I'm not quite sure what to say really about that. Yeah. You know full well that I bought it because it was Muckman Movies that told me that I ought to get it. So I'm going to look forward to watching that probably tomorrow, I should think.
Yeah.
But the trouble is, tomorrow I've got the background picture up at the moment. My Watership Down will be with me tomorrow, my 4K edition.
Oh, that'll be all excitement for that.
So I'm going to be watching that, I should think.
I wonder how, over years, how many special editions of box sets of Wizard of Oz there's been. I bet there's been quite a lot.
No, I turned around,
anniversaries and
I turned around and asked a question, didn't I? And I said, "Is this a new 4K?" Because I bought the 80th edition, right? The 80th anniversary. This is the 85th anniversary.
Yeah.
And there's no difference, so there's no point me buying it because I've got the 80th edition. So
yeah.
The only thing that would change is I'd get a steel book and I'd get some different internal artwork.
All right.
So, to me, I've kept my 80th anniversary and never bought the 85th. When it comes to the Nightmare on Elm Street 4K, I showed mine off last week. It finally turned up, didn't I?
Yeah.
Seven Samurai, I showed it off right at the beginning of this stream. So, and it was Muckman Movies that told me I ought to get it. So
yeah.
You can blame him. You can blame him. The bastard.
And then we've got Wee Bob out saying, "Maybe, maybe not. We will see."
Yeah.
Right. And then we've got Steve's Gaming. You old dodderers. Are both good. Oh yes, we're all right.
Steve is like a brother to me. I can't say a bad word to Steve, and he really, really challenges me because he gives me the really hardest bloody games you could come across, and then says, "I'm still your mate, though."
Yeah. Well,
you're going to be in for you're going to be in for a bad time when he gives you a game and he says, "By the way, it's got 99 lives in this game." 99 lives, right? And you lose them all in 5 minutes. That's when he's giving you a piece of shit.
Yeah.
All he wants to do is hear you swear.
Yeah.
And all he wants. He's a little sod, really. Love him to bits. Hello, Steve.
And then we've got Wee Bob Art again. Watch Bad Times at El Royale was decent and quite the cast, as I didn't know much about it.
There's been a lot. I tell you what, there was a Western I watched the other day. It was something like it wasn't the Ballad of, it was something along the line of the story of, got what it was on. It was on 2 nights ago. It really pisses me off. It had Bill Pullman in it.
Oh, I don't know.
It was brilliant. Really, really liked it. It'll come to me. But anyway, I've seen some cracking westerns just recently.
Yeah.
It was Muckman that was saying he wanted to get into westerns that encouraged me to go out and buy a lot more westerns. See what I mean? Muckman again.
Yeah.
And that's when I started buying all that Red Sun and all of that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And the only thing that is about it is that I didn't buy the steelbook of the Jimmy Stewart one. The famous one, with John Wayne. Who shot Liberty Valance, isn't it?
That's right. That's the one. Yeah.
And I haven't got that in my collection. And that apparently is a fantastic form.
Yeah, it's a good cast as well in that. Yeah.
So again, I've got to fill in some gaps.
Yeah.
I love Jimmy Stewart. Oh,
yeah,
Stewart.
He's in that.
In fact, that's why I sent you that How the West Was Won. That really wide screen. He was at the beginning of that, and he stole the show in that.
Yeah.
He was only in the first part, chapter 1.
Actually, the only disappointing thing about that film is that John Wayne isn't really in it a lot. You'd have thought they could have.
The other thing is he's one of the North. Is he the Confederate? He's the North, isn't he? Not the South.
Yeah, he's the North, and you see him in one scene, and that's it. Really,
you don't expect him to be a soldier because he's a cowboy to me.
Yeah, you expect something a bit more. Maybe he wasn't available, or I don't know what. I'd have thought he'd have been given a bit more bigger role in the film, but there we are.
At least he wasn't Genghis Khan.
Let's see. And then we've got Steve's Gaming. It's freezing. It is, Bayek. I'm sat in my sleeping bag with my fingerless gloves on. Before Del has a go, I'm not cheap. There's no central heating in the building. And the landlord cut off the gas 22 years ago. Brrr.
Yeah, it's really bad. Steve's in this sort of like building, and I'll tell you what, the landlord's real cheap, nasty. And it took him something like 6 weeks to get the water that was dripping into the house sorted. That sort of thing. And he has to buy his electricity. He has to buy his gas through gas cylinders.
Oh yeah.
So he's in that situation. It's bloody awful how Steve is treated, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
Bloody awful.
Yeah.
He lives in up near you.
Does he?
Yeah, seaside. That's all. He's in the seaside, by the seaside.
Yeah, it's no fun in this weather, is it? When it's bloody freezing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no. And we've got Cy saying, "Evening, gang."
Hello, Cy.
Nick.
It's nice to see Cy here.
And Danny says, "Hi, Cy, mate." And Cy says, "Hi, Danny, mate." And then we've got Wee Bama. Gee, Steve, that's terrible. My boy was complaining today as he is in a sort of loft room that was bolted on, and it's always freezing. So we need to get him some fingerless gloves for his Christmas.
I know sort of what it's like. You know, when you have a loft conversion done, you're supposed to insulate it, right? But if you don't, then basically the only thing between you and the roof is bloody tiles. It's freezing. Right?
Just see what it says here.
It's almost like living on an extension where you've only got single brick, without the cavity wall filling and that,
Just kidding. Need to sort it out when I get home. I'm currently in Dartford doing a training course. I'll need to freeze for a few days. There you are.
Dartford, yeah.
And Steve's Gaming says, yeah, they are good. And then we've got here Muckman Movies. Good evening, chaps. Hello, Jamie.
Always great to see you.
Stephen Moles, Ian and Delboy. Have you seen Colours starring Robert Duvall and Sean Penn?
Oh, isn't Robert Duvall absolutely brilliant?
Yeah.
He's the only person I think in. No, Robert Duvall, was he in Deep Impact or was he in Armageddon? No, he was in Deep Impact, wasn't he?
What was he in Deep Impact? Oh,
He was one of the ones that went up in the ship, wasn't he? And he was gonna mine. He
oh,
didn't come back. I think it was
yeah,
Armageddon. He's the only reason for watching that, to be quite honest.
yeah. He's a great actor. Yeah.
Have
I
I
was
seen
thinking,
Killers? I think I have, but it's a long time back. That's an 80s film. That's an 80s
yeah,
film, I
the
think.
Godfather films. He's in them, isn't he? It's
Yeah,
brilliant.
yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
fantastic. And Jamie says McMahon is Seven Samurai and he's loving it. There we are. He's going. What would you consider a modern day X Files or Fringe TV show that is decent if one exists? I love both those shows, but
yeah. Fringe was my
yeah,
favorite.
I've got that. X Files is just, it's for me, it's up there with the greatest TV series. But I don't know if one exists today. I don't. I can't think of
Yeah,
any.
but it doesn't have to be today. It's just a modern day X Files or Fringe.
Um,
I'm trying to think. See, because I haven't been watching a lot of TV, and the last TV that I sort of really, really watched was Grimm,
yeah,
which has its more of its history in supernatural and monsters, really, than it
yeah.
does in science fiction and all of that sort of stuff. That X Files sort of like.
I have to confess, I don't watch TV
I'll
series.
tell you what, Bob,
Yeah.
I'm going to have a look at my collection and I'll give you a list for my blog.
Yeah.
I'll write that down now for me.
The X Files is always, it's just a series that I love to death, and that's why I'm reviewing
sorry,
it.
don't get rid of that for a minute. I want to write it down.
Yeah. And of course, Fringe. That was a great series.
And I'm just going to put get list, modern day Fringe clone.
Fringe is great. Yeah.
Or X Files.
Yeah, but
yeah, for wee Bob. And I'll do that for the blog. Won't take me too long to do that.
I think really I just don't watch any of modern TV series now.
Fringe to me was the last time that
Lost
what's his name that did Fringe? The bloke who did Star Trek, the new Star Trek. Oh, Abrahams.
Yes, yeah.
It was the last time that he did a good TV show.
Yeah, because I've gone off Star Trek series, to be honest, which is sad, but the modern ones I've gone off.
It even had a cracking theme tune, Fringe.
Yeah. Maybe there may well be some, if anybody's got any recommendations, but I just don't feel I've got time to sit and watch a series now. I know people have mentioned Penguin, haven't they, recently? Which we have.
Yeah, but that's not an X Files, and that's not a Fringe.
No, it's not that kind of show, is it? It's
what he's talking about is things like Prison Break,
but they're
Supernatural, and So what I'm trying to say is I'll have a think because I've got quite a lot of.
I've not watched out since Fringe and Lost are my last series that I've watched.
I even got really into that Sleepy Hollow TV show, which was really quite good. It lasted about 2 or 3 seasons. Again, that's not a modern day X Files or Fringe.
No.
So I'll think of one. I'll think of something. Yeah.
Right. Great purchase, Del. It's a bloody masterpiece.
Bloody well better. Otherwise, I'm going round his house to nick all his stuff, and I'm going to leave some muck or something on his kitchen floor or something.
Steve's giving Ian Dell. Bearing in mind, my wife loves 60s to 80s TV mostly. What Blu-ray complete box sets should I buy her for Xmas? Oh, blooming heck. Which ones have a big improvement over the DVDs? That's quite a question.
Well, the original Star Trek for a start.
Yeah. Next gen?
Randall and Hopkirk is really, really upscaled. That's nice.
Yeah.
The Persuaders.
Oh, all those 60s ones. Yeah.
The Tony Curtis and
Yeah.
Roger Moore one. That came out just as Network failed.
Yeah.
So it's really, really hard to get hold of that.
Yeah. So it needs
Space 1999 is really nice on Blu-ray.
Yeah. You can get that. Yeah.
Yeah, Space 1999. I'll definitely do that.
What, a UFO? What about UFO?
Yeah, but he's already got that, I think.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't bother mentioning it, because that would be one that he'll just instantly get.
Yeah.
The Prisoner.
Yeah.
That looks good, Blu-ray.
I presume he's got the Twilight Zones and all that.
Yeah, they're exceptional.
Yeah.
Because they're black and white.
Yeah.
Yeah, good call.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if the Outer Limits is as good as the Twilight Zone in regards to picture quality. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I've only got the DVD.
Well, we've mentioned a couple there.
Yeah, yeah. Hopefully that might help. Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I don't know about the Avengers.
Oh yeah, I've got Color Avengers. I've got
yeah, but have you got the Blu-rays and looked at the
Blu-ray
DVD?
of Dino Rig.
Right now, did you look at the DVDs and did you think the Blu-rays were exceptionally better above the DVDs? Because what you have to understand is he's got the DVDs of all these that we've mentioned.
Yeah,
he only wants to know which ones are worth upscaling.
Because I actually thought the Avengers DVDs were pretty good. The color ones.
Yeah.
Transfers were. Have you got them?
No, that's what I'm saying. I haven't got them.
Yeah. I think they're pretty good, and the Linda Thorson ones. I'll tell
you who would tell him a few more, and that's my mate Denny. Because Denny has bought things like Mission Impossible as Blu-rays, and he's bought a lot of stuff like Love Thy Neighbor and all of that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And he upscaled his to Blu-ray before the network went under, so. I'll have a word with him, Steve, and get a list of which ones are exceptional on Blu-ray. We all know what the Doctor Who's look like in Blu-ray; they're pretty good. But to be quite honest, that's an awful lot of money to spend on something that you don't really need to.
Yeah,
do. I'm pretty sure you'd be happy if for Christmas you upscaled your Randall and Hopkirks and gave that as a Christmas present.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know, it's like that with me.
Space
1999 is exceptional.
Yeah, I've got. Yeah. Oh well, hopefully that might help. So we've got Steve's born in the 70s gaming. Hello, Ian. I got around to seeing Maxine and totally agree with you. Crikey, someone agrees with me with all the positive sentiments in your review. Real filmmaking and an absolute pleasure to watch. I need more like this. Any recommendations from this year? Well, I'll tell you, this film that is I talked about at the beginning, Speak No Evil. That's coming out in a couple of weeks. Totally recommend that. It is a great film. James McAvoy in it, and of course the other one that I do recommend that I don't know if you got is Abigail. Abigail came out earlier in the year. That is brilliant.
What about late night with the devil or that last?
Late night with the devil. Yeah, I would include that now. It's Late Night with the Devil is a film I've got to like a bit more. I didn't.
It's just that he's put real filmmaking.
Yeah,
and I think it's got that real look of this is a 70s TV show.
It does. I agree totally on that. And I'm certainly glad you agree about Maxine, because everybody goes for Pearl and X. I think above Maxine, but Maxine was just exceptional for me. I think you're right. I think Late Night with the Devil is a good one to put in. That, and I certainly say Abigail. Abigail is because the story, the way it flips, is just brilliant. It absolutely
And I
turns it
told you
round.
I'm only waiting for a 4K of them. So.
Yeah, and I said this new film that I just watched, I'm downloading. I'm going to get it when it comes. Speak No Evil. James McAvoy as a serial killer is wow. It is some film, and the story behind it all, as it builds up, you're on the edge of your seat. You know things are not right, and it just goes in a great direction. Absolutely loved it. Yeah. I hope that helps. Anyhow, well, it's sort of our recommendations. And then we've got Tony saying, "Evening, Ian and Del." Hello, Tony. Juggernaut is good, Del. I'm hoping to get it next week. Great
I bet you any money it was. I bet you any money it was Tony that basically recommended it. I bet you any money.
Dressing gown weather here too, yeah, and I'm going dressing gown. Never seen Seven Samurai. Got the magnificent. I can't say it. Magnificent Sevens plus sequels. Yeah, because that's what they base it on.
You know, I've got the Steelbook of Magnificent Sevens.
Yeah. So. Everybody says it's based on that, the Seven Samurai. So
that was the reason. That was one of the other reason for getting it. I ordered Magnificent Seven and Seven Samurai at the same time, and Magnificent Seven turned up first.
Yeah.
Amazing that.
A great coincidence. And then we've got Wee Baba. Not sure if I mentioned this, but I heard Project Hail Mary has just finished shooting. If you're into sci-fi and the Martian, you should give it a read. I'm hoping the movie lives up to the book.
Yeah.
So what's that called again? Let's just go back.
Hail Mary.
Hail Mary.
Well, it's called Project Hail Mary.
Yeah, sounds interesting. Just the title is interesting.
I think he's mentioned it once. I think he's mentioned it once before in my blog.
Yeah. So we'll look at is that coming out? It's just really shooting, so it'll be next year, won't it?
Yeah. So I think it's a conversion of a book.
Yeah.
I like The Martian, but then again, I'm a Ridley Scott fan.
Yeah.
So you know.
Yeah. Well, it's a good film. What can you say about it? It's a good film. Let's see. Sai says, I love the Alan Parsons music with the Michael Jordan Chicago Bulls used for the team's entrance. Oh, I didn't know that. I don't know anything about that. I presume that's American football.
Yeah, that's either going to be football or baseball, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, it could be basketball. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, in Michael Jordan, a basketball player, wasn't
it's basketball, isn't it?
Yeah, he's a basketball player. I know that, even though I've never done nothing about him.
He was in Space Jam, wasn't
he? Yeah, basketball. And then we've got Tonyson, Evening Jamie, and then sorry, I jumped off here. It says, do yourself a favor. This is Muckman says, Tony, and get yourself a copy of Seven Samurai. It's a must watch for any cinemaphile. There you are. I'll be interested.
That's what I've heard. I've heard the cinematography is brilliant in it.
Yeah. So. And it said Muckman says, "I Tony," and then Muckman Movies. By the way, I can verify that the Stackery delivery service works for importing US imports. I received my 50% off Criterion today. Oh, that's the company, isn't it? That's he's doing the Criterion collection. He's got a sale on, haven't they? 50%.
He's tried and worked out that it works.
Yeah, well, that's good.
A way that you can order things through things like Best Buy and things like that.
Because you couldn't.
You can have them sent to Stackery and then basically sent to yourself.
Oh, that's good. Because
You know,
they won't send direct to this country, will they?
I turned around to him and I said, it's wonderful that someone like Muckman Movies is telling the community about this, so that they got another option of being able to get things to here, because there's so many things that are like Best Buy exclusives and all this sort of stuff, but you don't see sight nor sound of it because it's never going to be over here. Or
no.
I mean, I wanted a RoboCop 2.
Yeah.
Right. And I think RoboCop 2 4K was a Arrow. No, it wasn't Arrow. It was, I don't know. Anyway, it was something that only you could get on Best Buy, and Best Buy don't ship to Britain, so that was it. He was stuffed.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's what I say. Yeah. Because was it them that did a lot of special covers at one time? Best Buy that have exclusive covers and that.
Well, it's just that I've got RoboCop several times, but when it comes to RoboCop 2, and you go, oh yeah, I'll have the 4K of that, and then you find out, only in America, and you go, well, sod you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Thanks.
Sai says, Muckman Movies, is the Seventh Samurai print any good? We'll see what happens. Jamie heard so many good things about it. Inevitable purchase, I think, at some point. Yeah. Then there's Delboy showing it off. They should have been £1.50, weren't they? In their 2 for 3, Ian. Oh yeah, he's on about the what do you call it? Music Magpie sale thing. Yeah, you could get two for 3. Yeah. Muckman says, "Sai, no idea. I own the Criterion of Seven Samurai. I'm sure the 4K will be incredible, though. BFI usually do a great restoration job.
Oh yeah, if it's anything like Get Carter and Watership Down, which is coming tomorrow, it'll be exceptional. You know, BFI in it. So
yeah,
Get Carter was exceptional.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Get Carter, fantastic film.
No, but the print, he's talking about the print. I mean, I'm telling you now, Get Carter was incredible.
Yeah. That's worth getting, is it?
Oh, yeah.
The print, yeah. We Bob Speak No Evil was a decent movie. Oh, that's the one that I mentioned, yeah. It's good. I really enjoyed it. Fantastic. Tony, I always appreciate your good wishes, Del. Ransom is a good choice, Ian. Yes.
Well, he is a bastard, I'll tell you. It's a bastard Tony York here.
Oh dear.
No, what did I call him? That bastard Tony.
Yeah, you call every week. You call him that every week. We Bob Out says, I think the only thing that I think it put me off a bit was the mum was the hybrid Terminator in Dark Fate.
Oh
so
yeah.
I wanted to kick her some ass. Oh, all right.
Terminator Dark Fate. Terminator.
Look at this. No, I loved Cuckoo. Well, I thought you would, but I just didn't get on with it. I thought it was German daftness gone to its end. It really was. I sound racist almost. It was daft. The concept of this cuckoo thing inside people's thing. Maybe it was my mood. I just wanted some horror that wasn't contrived. I wanted sort of just horror that was good. And this wasn't. This said, "Oh, it had a great atmosphere." Well, it didn't for me. I just really didn't like it.
See, when somebody mentioned Cuckoo, I thought they were talking about the BBC comedy that had, the BBC comedy that had, had Rick Mail in it.
There's all these people going around. And the way it's directed and the music, and it's all, to me, a load of pretentious shit, the way they're doing it. They're trying to make it up as if it's some great work of art. I got bored with it. I got absolutely bored. I was longing for I don't know, a good old Hammer film or something that you actually enjoy the story and love. And this pretentious stuff. Sorry, I've got on a rant. Yeah. um, Hunter Schafer was brilliant as Gretchen in Cuckoo. Yeah, well, there you are. Everybody has different opinions. Yeah.
Well, only you can answer that. So was Hunter Schafer as brilliant?
But the film was absolutely garbage.
That's not what he's saying. He's saying Hunter Schafer was brilliant as Gretchen.
The film is no actor could elevate that film for me. It just.
So you didn't think Gretchen was the best thing in it?
No. And was there any good thing in Cuckoo?
Oh, stop it now! You're really going over the top now. Even I know. Like me, you go. You know what? There's always something in a film that I go. You know.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. The best part of the film was the end when it ended.
Yeah.
That was the best part of the film. The credit.
You accused me of ranting, right? Where I usually turn around and say the best thing about the film was that they used the Times New Roman font in the titles, right? And there you are turning around and saying the best thing about it was the end came up. Right? That's not very nice, is it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, this the whole concept about this Cuckoo, it just seemed, you know, I don't.
Is it about a clock or something? What?
No, well, yeah, I could clock somebody like this watching the film.
I could clock that Gretchen in it. Yeah, right.
You give her a good. No, anyhow, I better move on. Wee Bob, I love Deadpool versus Wolverine. My kind of
humor, yeah.
I didn't watch much of the Marvel movies though. Generally, I know it was just me. I wasn't, as we discussed it earlier. I just wasn't in the mood. I don't think for it, and I'd had enough.
I think that film will look like total fan service unless you're in the mood.
Yeah. Because what you said, I remember you went to see it, didn't you? At the
yeah. And I was dreading. I wasn't dreading seeing it, but I was a bit like you. It was like, I've seen a couple of really bad now Marvel films. Am I really looking forward to this one?
Yeah.
Where I'm not really bothered about Deadpool, but I like Wolverine.
Right? Yeah. Well,
and I went in and I went in and I thought even the opening sequence to me is worth it. And then I watched the rest, and there was all these characters that came in that I thought that's fan service. Fan service. But then I was getting into it because it was more about the comedy in it.
Yeah.
And I heard somewhere that Marvel said you can't have drug jokes in it, and then they actually just went right against them and said, right, we're going to put a lot of drug jokes in, right? Just to piss them off.
Yeah,
just to piss them off. And I thought that's ballsy.
Yeah.
So I then got into it, and I thought, do you know what? In other words, sod Marvel, we'll do what we want. And I thought that's great.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't even laugh at his wig joke, you know, the wig thing, and it just got me in the wrong mood totally. It just didn't get it. Yeah. I still need to watch my copy of Deadpool and Wolverine. Yeah. Marvel have oversaturated the genre. I personally agree with Ian. I got fed up with them too. Marvel also got too obsessed with the multiverse. Yeah, I think that's a very good argument.
They put all their eggs in one basket.
He said, which I got bored with.
Then because people didn't like that thing, they alienated everyone.
Yeah.
But then the trouble is, because they put all their eggs in one basket, they can't get out of it.
No.
Every film would have been plotted to go along this multiverse line. And if you didn't like the multiverse, then you weren't going to like it. So, of course, 5, 6, 7 films in, you're going, when's this ending?
Yeah, exactly. That's it.
Right.
And you don't.
What you got to remember is that multiverse was supposed to go to phase 5, 6, and 7. right?
Yeah,
Just like
crikey.
there was a phase 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh dear.
So what you have to understand is that if you didn't like it, or at the end of phase 5 or whatever
Yeah.
it was, 4, then you weren't going to like the next 2 phases because it was all a continuation until it got to the end. So.
I always think it's bad when you get to the point when you don't care about anything. You just can't be bothered. That's a bad thing to be in. I don't like feeling like that.
The only thing that's good about the multiverse is that it made Doctor Strange films better. Right? That's one thing, because I do like Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Right? The other thing is, if you look at it from a certain angle, it can be a what if film. It can be a what if film. What if Spider-Man was bitten by a scorpion or something, right? You know, or what if Aunt May never died? What if, you know, all of it? Because in another universe, she would have been alive.
Yeah.
And that makes it a very interesting.
The problem with that is now you can't do that. Even if you did that now, people are just thinking, "Oh, it's Marvel again." They've had enough.
So
you could bring that back.
This is what's making the end game for Marvel work, because you've got Tony Stark now as Doctor Doom.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So people are going, how do you go from being Iron Man to Doctor Doom?
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So it's got everybody talking. Some people are turning around saying this reeks you know, like you know, what are we going to do here? We've got, you know, it reeks like we're in trouble. But the other half is turning around and saying, "Oh, I'm excited again. You woke me up. Tony Stark, oh, brilliant. He's got him down as Doctor Doom. Doctor Doom, what an enemy. Oh, Fantastic Four. Now I want to see the Fantastic Four film." That's what's happening. That's what Marvel wanted. So
yeah. But anyhow, we've got Sai says, "I'm excited to see Superman Legacy. It has a cameo from Christopher Reeve's son. Oh, that's a nice touch."
Yeah, like I said, they're heavily pushing Superman now, and it's coming off the back of a little bit of the Christopher Reeve documentary. The trouble is, Superman to me's become a bit stale. Maybe this will rejuvenate it. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? It could do. Hopefully, if we try to be positive, hopefully. Tony York says, "Never got into Marvel. Seen a handful on TV. Quite like Captain America." Yeah,
the whole Captain America ones are the ones that I consider to be the gold. So Winter Soldier is brilliant. Civil War is brilliant. The first Captain America was a surprise. You know, and then you've got the 2 Avengers films that ended it all. And then when you looked at that, you went, well, it seems to me that Captain America was the best thing about it all then, because the Iron Man was hit and miss. The 4 ones were hit and miss. You know what I mean? So, you know, when you got to the Avengers, which were the end bits, and then when you got Captain America all the way through it, you went, oh, great.
Yeah.
So, you watch the best things, Tony. Really.
Yeah. Wee Bob Hap says, Christopher Reeve documentary has me in tears.
Yeah.
I'm a big wuss. Yeah, a lot of people have been
it was such an emotional roller coaster that it was 90. I think it was about 95 minutes or something like that. It was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah. Oh, here we are. Muckman says, "I finally snagged a copy of Outland." We mentioned this before. This week in HME's 2 for 15. Yeah, excellent value. Watched it this week too, even with its regurgitated alien film score.
He's having a go at me. He's having a go at me here because it's Jerry Goldsmith, and he knows it's Jerry Goldsmith.
Yeah.
Right? An Alien was done by Jerry Goldsmith, and Outland is Jerry Goldsmith. And at the end of the day, Outland, I did a capsule review on it. It's absolutely a stunning film.
Yeah.
It's actually High Noon in space.
Yeah, that's right.
That's what it is.
Yeah. And he says really enjoyed it, even with the regurgitated alien film score. So there
It's
you are.
not that. It's not that regurgitated. God's sake.
And then we've got is Reeve Dog on Netflix, Bob?
It was.
Yeah.
It was. Don't know if it is anymore. It
Yeah.
was on Netflix 4 days after the film release at the
That
cinema.
was pretty quick. Yeah.
No, they had a special deal that it was only on Netflix, but you had to buy it on Netflix. It was a rental thing. It wasn't like if you were a Netflix subscriber.
So if you was already a subscriber, you had to buy it. Even
you had to actually rent it. Yeah, you might as well have bought a cinema ticket. You know.
Yeah, yeah. I've seen it on a Black Alley Fire Stick. Yes.
Yeah,
we all.
A special hacked Fire Stick.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, they've cancelled the old Fire Sticks and they've made 2 new ones. So apparently, one of the big things that people did about a month ago was buy all the old stock of Fire Sticks because they were cheap.
Right.
And those are the ones that you can hack. Can't hack the new ones.
You will get it on websites as well if you have ways and means. Same as full Romulus movie is on YouTube. Oh yeah, Alien Romulus. Yeah.
Yeah, I get all my stuff through. I mean, I don't mind mentioning it. I get all my stuff through news groups. Now, you'll have to do a Google search on what a news group is, but that's how I do it.
Yeah.
You'll never be able to close news groups down because news groups is on every internet service provider's SPAC server. So, yeah.
I got the comedy Waiting for Guffman.
Guffman, yeah.
Guffman as my other film in the 2 for 15. Anyone seen it? It's supposed to be very funny. Have you seen it?
I'm just saying to you, I was wondering whether you've seen it.
I've not seen Guffman. I've never heard of it.
It's a mockumentary. That's all I know.
Is it? Oh, right. I've not seen that. Guffman film is it's by Spinal Tap's Christopher Guest, who's also married to Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah.
Wow. You can blame me to your heart's content with the Seventh Samurai Bell. It's one of the most influential films of all time and a downright masterpiece. The 3-hour runtime flies by.
I'm actually having a laugh with you, Muckman. That's all I'm doing. You know full well that I don't think that at all.
I was disappointed with BT at El Royal, but I've kept it to rewatch. Yeah, it is always worth giving films a rewatch, unless they really are something you just know. But he says, Jimmy Stewart is great. I'm desperate to watch Winchester 73.
Yeah, Winchester 73.
I'm going to snag the Criterion from US in the next Barnes and Noble sale, which we hear so much about.
I love Jimmy Stewart. I tell you what, I can watch a load of it. And I tell you what, I haven't seen an awful lot of, and I don't know whether you have or not, Ian, and that is DeForest Kelly. He was in a lot of Westerns.
Oh, yes, yeah.
And yeah, I don't think I've watched more than 2 in my life.
Yeah.
I need to really go to IMDb, put in DeForest Kelly, look at what
find out
and find out what they are, because he's actually been to Star Trek conventions and he reels off all of these Westerns that he was in and who was in there and who he was scared about being, who he was going to acting with because he thought of them as being gods, you know, like I don't know, Henry Fonda, say, or someone like that, right? And I'm going, what? You were in a Henry Fonda film? That's news to me.
Yeah.
So, you know, this is where I'm going, you know what? I really, really need to look these up.
Yeah. let's see. Ian, this is Charles Duncan. Hello, Charles. Ian and Del, do you watch or collect 50s, 60s B movies?
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
I don't collect
undoubtedly.
an awful lot of it.
No,
It's just a handful of things where they're classed as B movies, like The Incredible Shrinking Man. That's a B movie.
yeah,
The Blob, the original, that's
yeah,
a B movie. I've
yeah,
got those, but
yeah.
if somebody was to mention, like another B movie, and I'd be going, "Oh, I think I've
The-
seen it, but I haven't got it." No.
yeah, well, Indicator often release a lot of good
Yeah,
B movies. They're well worth, and I'd certainly get them.
I've got a
Yeah,
lot
I've
of Roger
got a
Corman.
few.
I've got a lot of Roger Corman
Yeah,
science fiction
yeah.
films. You know what I mean? And
There is quite a lot, and I'm definitely open to collect them if I see them. I just think they're great, yeah. And not in all genres as well.
Earth versus
Yes.
the Flying Saucers is considered a B movie,
Yeah, sci-fi,
and
horror,
and yet
crime, drama.
and yet, really, why is it considered a B movie when you consider who did the special effects and who directed it? I mean, it's
Yeah,
not really,
yeah.
you know.
There's a lot of good British ones as well if you look around, and some of these companies are
Yeah.
now bringing them out that perhaps get sort of buried before. That's why I point at Indicator as a good label.
I sometimes think that now that we're at 2024, should we consider them B movies anymore?
Mm,
I don't think we should categorize things as being
yeah,
an A film, a B film, a
yeah,
C film. I know that they were always jokingly considered B movies because they were cheap
yeah,
and were on the cheap. But
yeah,
some of these cheap films now are considered absolute classics.
yeah. Well, you can say the B movies led to companies then putting double bills on, really, because there was a time, a lot in late 60s, and I remember, as you get really good double bills together, they'd
Oh
stick
yeah.
films. Like with the Bond films, you'd always go and see two James Bond films together. That's how they did it when
Well,
re-released
the
them.
50s and 60s B movies was what people were watching when they went into
Yeah,
drive-in cinemas in the
that's right.
States.
Yeah, yeah,
The Blob was an absolute sensation film when you went to a drive-in with your girlfriend in the 50s in America. Because
yeah,
it was like, oh, look, there's going to be a horror film on, and it's got this blob, and it comes in and it
yeah,
eats people, and all of this. And the amount of people that didn't go to the cinema, they actually went to drive-ins to see those.
yeah,
We've never had drive-ins really over here. It was never really took off, did it? We've had outdoor cinema, but we
yeah,
haven't really had drive-ins,
yeah,
where you actually have headphones that and somebody comes along with hamburger and chips that you put on the side of your car, like
yeah.
Happy Days or something.
Often, when you got joint productions with America, because British film industry needed a lot of help often from American finance and vice versa. This is where you
Yeah.
get your double bills, and Americans were very happy to have a lot of our B movies and stick them on their double bills in America.
Yeah, Day of the
And vice versa.
Triffids, all of Day of the
Yeah,
Triffids, and all that.
yeah.
Crater Mass and the Pit.
Well, they were just very popular.
That's why they say they're distributed by Warner and all of that.
Yeah,
And Rank and all of that.
yeah. Steve, you need to move if the landlord is neglecting his building. Oh, that's
Honestly,
yeah,
Steve could give you a big backstory to behind
yeah,
it. He hasn't really got the time here, but I tell you now, it's really difficult for him. And I tell you now, I feel for him. I really do feel for him.
Yeah.
Because I know the backstory of it. So
Stephen Moore says, have any of you seen Space Raiders? They use the same music as Battle Beyond the Stars.
I've eaten the crisps.
Oh, the crisps. Yeah. No.
Battle Beyond the Stars, by the way, is a James Horner, his very first movie score, if I remember rightly.
And it pops up every week.
And off the back of that, and the fact that he was only going to charge £10,000.
Yeah.
He did the score to The Wrath of Khan, and it's actually got in snippets of Battle Beyond the Stars in it.
Yeah.
This is because he was a new composer on the sort of like I forget the wording that I'm trying to use. He was sort of like new on the scene.
Yeah.
And it's very difficult for a new composer to sort of like get a 102-piece orchestra together to do something. So snippets of if you hear Wrath of Khan, if you listen to the score to Wrath of Khan, there's snippets of it that are just totally Battle Beyond the Stars.
Yeah.
Totally. So is the music in Space Raiders? Possibly. I can't quite remember Space Raiders score. But if it says James Horner, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's who did both. Battle Beyond the Stars and Wrath of Khan. The sadly missed, should I say, as well, James Horner. He's dead now.
Yeah. Yeah. Tony says, Bend of the River and The Far Country are a couple of 50s Jimmy Stewart films I enjoy.
I've seen Far Country.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen Bend of the River.
No. Andy makes ours. Hello, Andy. Happy Wednesday. Have either of you seen the A1 Star Trek show? AI, sorry. AI, yeah, A1, that's a road up. Yeah. AI.
Yeah, have you been up the A1 and seen Star Trek?
A1, lad. A1. AI, Star Trek shot unification. It will not, if not, we'll send you links on YouTube. It's actually really good.
The links are actually in my Discord.
Right.
I heard about unification on Monday. Basically, William Shatner is executive producer, and it's part of the Gene Roddenberry archive. And it's a really, really nice 10-minute section where you see Leonard Nimoy as Spock go to Kirk's grave. And then Kirk is brought back to life. And you basically see him go to Spock's bedside before he dies. It's a really moving 10 minutes. There's no words in it. No words in it whatsoever. And it's one of these, when it says AI, they've superimposed William Shatner's face, did it, with all the golf balls and everything, and then computer generated his face so that you could see William Shatner as he was in the 60s, plus how he was in the movies, plus how he was in the Generations film. So you see all three parts of him that he was actually in all of those scenes, but obviously he's 90 something, isn't he? So so you've got to do something, and of course Leonard Nimoy's dead. And you've got Robin Givens as Savick in it. She's in it.
Well,
it's really, really good. I'll send you the link, Ian. It's brilliant. It's and then there's a documentary. William Shatner did an interview at the end of it.
Right.
He talks about why he did it. And it's a really moving documentary, because he talks about it and says, look, it's not like I put up a brick wall about being in Star Trek. It's all to do with, is there a reason for me playing him again?
Yeah.
If you don't do a good enough story, then you're bringing him back just for fans' sake.
Yeah.
Also, you got to remember that I'm a realist, and I'm in the 90s.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Yeah.
And I've always believed this. I'd love it, you know, if he spent a week in a recording studio, right? Just reading out the dictionary, right, of every word, and then the alphabet A, B, C, D.
Yeah.
So later on, when AI comes along, you can have him do the voiceovers of Kirk in cartoons
Yeah.
and all sorts of stuff. Because once he's dead and gone, you won't see him in animation or anything. He'll be gone.
Yeah.
So you'll only have what he's got, and it'll be him reading out Simon and Schuster audio books,
Yeah.
plus the cartoons that he did in the 70s, plus the films he did in the 80s, you know, the 70s, 80s, and 90s, you know, in the 80s, should I say?
Yeah.
And then all of the stuff that was in the 60s, and that'll be it. You know, and to be quite honest, you've got a perfect opportunity now to do a whole cartoon of new Star Trek material, and his voice sounds just like it did when it was back in the 70s.
Yeah.
So, you know, he's done voiceovers for games.
Yeah.
So why don't you just get a week of him in the recording studio just reading out a load of words? I don't give a shit as long as you can still have a new Star Trek thing with Kirk in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's where I think AI would be great.
Yeah.
Not for him to be superimposed where you take something away from another actor. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with likeness removal either. I don't like that. I'm talking about the executor of his own voice agrees that you can use this for new material when he's gone.
Yeah.
When he's gone, who's going to object?
Exactly. That's very good. Yeah. Well put.
Well, I think that. I mean, other people.
Yeah. No, I think you're right.
That's a really bad idea. But as far as I'm concerned, I'll tell you what, I could listen to him play Kirk in an audio play where I'm just listening to his voice, where he just mouths the bit. When he's gone, you can't do that. And to be quite honest, you don't need his face on the screen for me to understand that's Kirk I'm listening to.
Yeah, that's right.
To have somebody like a person who does voiceovers do it, it's not the same.
No.
It's not the same.
No.
And when he's gone, he's gone. That's it.
Yeah.
He ain't going to be around forever. He's 90 what now? 95?
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
Right. We've got here.
I'll send you the link anyway of that.
Yeah, thanks. I'd be interested in that. We got Wee Bob Art saying Robert Duvall was the nice old man in
Deep Impact. I thought it was Deep Impact. I didn't think it was again. He was really nice. He had a daughter and he didn't get to say goodbye to her or something. It's when the tidal wave came in, she died, didn't she?
Yeah.
Deep Impact's a much better film than Armageddon anyway.
Yeah. We got Tony saying, Charles, I enjoy 50s and 60s UK B movies. Seen a couple this week. I know Tony does love his B movies. Wee Bob Art, the Wee Blind Guy,
I'll show you
a nice wee story.
This is cheap. This is really, really cheap. This is really cheap. Let me turn that off. Classic sci-fi TV, 150 episodes of television classics. And it's got on there Flash Gordon and Rocket Man and all of those sort of stuff. That, believe it or not, I think is about 14 quid on Amazon.
Wow, that's good, isn't it? Yeah.
That's sort of like 50s, really, you know, B-movie. It's not really, it's episodic stuff, but I mean, it's still good to have. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you want something that's really cheap, I'd recommend it anyway, you know?
All right. That's good. Jamie says, I have a Fringe tattoo. It was my favorite tea show. Oh, yeah, Walter. Had me in stitches every episode. Yeah, Walter, that's it. I remember Walter. Yeah, great character. We Bob Out, love Fringe. I have a soft spot for Anne Torv too. Yeah, she was
Anna
the lead.
Torv, yeah,
Yeah,
Anna
she was
Torv, yeah.
nice. Yeah. Um, Charles Duncan says that's great. Tony Hawk, great fun. We Bob Out, fair enough. She was briefly in the Last of Us TV adaptation. Pretty lady.
Yeah, she was in Last of Us. That's
yeah.
that. The Last of Us 2 comes out not far away now. I think it's either the end of this year or the beginning of next year. They've done all the trailers for that now and keep bringing them out.
Right.
Yeah, she was in that. Yeah.
Muckman movies. I have Tarantula and them.
Tarantula.
Tarantula. Yeah, sorry. Tarantula.
Jesus Christ, man.
Tarantula. Not Quentin.
Tarantula. Tarantula. What the hell is
that? If they count, Charles, there you are.
They bloody well do. them is ants. Tarantula is that big bloody black. It's got Clint Eastwood in it, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Hasn't Tarantula got Clint Eastwood in it?
I don't know. I don't think it's them. No, it's definitely not them.
No, Tarantula.
Yeah.
Wasn't he in Tarantula, Clint Eastwood?
I don't know.
Anyway, them is ants.
Yeah. Ants.
The best ant film to me is Phase 4.
Oh right, yeah, Phase 4, yeah.
For
a while. Yeah.
But I do love all of those big spiders and big ants.
Oh yeah. They are good.
I've got both of those films as well.
Muckman says I've the 2 William Castle box sets too, but only watched The Tingler and 13 Ghosts so far. Yeah, I like The Tingler quite a lot. It's a bit daft, but it's good.
I've seen 13 Ghosts.
Yeah. And Dell is going to
shit on my kitchen floor.
Lovely.
I didn't say it's going to be my shit. It's just you're going to have some shit on your kitchen floor when I leave.
Wee Baba, does that mean you're getting a Blu-ray player, Steve?
He's got one.
Yeah, he has. One. Yeah. Talking of modern mysterious TV shows, my friend has recommended From. I've never seen it, but it looks interesting.
I haven't heard of that.
No, I've not heard of From.
Yeah. From.
Muckman Movies, those films are still available in box set. Great fun. Oh, yeah. I have them and the Deadly Mantis. Oh, 50s creature features. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen Deadly Mantis.
We will check out From. Cheers, Si. Oh, yeah. Stephen says, I watched the last Cumite today. It's a good movie if you like martial arts movies. And I watched Darkness of Man, Jean-Claude Damme's latest movie.
I'm not into karate, so I really can't.
I must admit, I've not watched much martial arts at all.
I mean, I like Enter the Dragon, and I like.
That's it. That's about the only one.
And I've watched The Big Boss and a couple of special, a couple of the big ones, but I've never really been into the karate stuff, and even Jackie Chan stuff leaves me dry.
Van Damme is in quite a lot,
and Van Damme I can only watch Time Cop.
Yeah, that's it. Time Cop's my favorite, and that's it of his films.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Steve's Gaming. We Bob got one a couple of weeks back. Been looking at Blu-rays, and I want UFO, but 60 quid. Geez, can't afford that. God, that's expensive now, isn't it?
Yeah, but you see, he mentioned something like that, and I just turn around and I go, I know what to get Steve for Christmas. Thank you very much. He'll forget about that in 4 weeks' time, and blah 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 blah. That's all people have to do is do something like that. Is put something up like that. I go, yeah, I know exactly what I'm going to do now. I mean,
Muckman movies, similar TV to X-Files and Fringe. I liked Wayward Pines. Oh yeah, I think I've seen that Wayward Pines. Yeah, that
I've heard of it
too. It lasted, I think, only 2 seasons before it was cancelled. Yeah.
Oh, I'll tell you something that is quite good. The Expanse.
Oh yeah, I've never seen that. It's a sci-fi one.
That is good.
Yeah.
The Expanse. Denny goes ballistic over The Expanse. He goes, "Oh my god!" So The Expanse is a good one.
Yeah.
If you're listening, The Expanse.
Yeah. Great stuff, Steve. I pick up most of my Blu-rays from CEX, the cheap ones that I want. It annoys me when they cancel shows, just tie up the show. I know, but unfortunately, that happens such a lot. They don't get told that they're going to be cancelled.
I'll tell you what it is.
And they're all right. They can do it then.
I'll tell you what it is. 20th Century Fox were the worst.
Yeah, right? The worst.
20th Century Fox had their own TV channel, right? And they did all of these one-season things, and they'd cancel them halfway through and go, "No, not doing any more." Yeah. Right? And people used to go, "There's no point me getting excited over anything that comes out on 20th Century Fox because it won't last one season." It's
going to get cancelled.
And the trouble with Netflix is, in the early days, they got a bad reputation of doing something for 2 seasons and then stopping.
Yeah.
What they tried to do was get something that was absolutely fantastic, right? And even the second season, they were building up their audience. They wanted to cancel it because they wanted to sell it to another studio to continue it. That's why Constantine got cancelled and all of that sort of stuff, right? It's a very, very bad policy to have something like that. You know, The Expanse went to 3 seasons and somebody else had to actually buy it to do a 4th.
Yeah.
It happened for Charmed, I think. Charmed got cancelled and had to be bought by somebody else. And
yeah,
there's a number of shows like that. Gilmore Girls, I think, did that and all. Got cancelled. Had to be bought by someone else to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't understand why they do it, because they build up a family of people that want to watch it, and then they just bloody go, yeah, but we want to put money into something new, you see. So
what they do is they'd put it up against in a slot that they knew wouldn't get the big audience because something else was on. That was
except for the argument there is that Netflix has always been streaming.
Yeah.
It's not about that.
That would have been back to Fox.
That would have been true back in the day with the TV stuff. Yeah, absolutely. They put it in the Friday night death slot.
Yeah, because there was a great series on Fox, but got that treatment, which was Space Above and Beyond, and it was a great series, and it was doomed. They just stuck it on. Such great series that.
Yeah, I mean, Star Trek's 3rd season was in the graveyard slot, wasn't it? Friday nights at 8 o'clock at night or something.
Yeah, it's almost delicious. We're lucky we got a 3rd series, really, even if it's not considered as good. We're lucky we got it, really.
Oh, the last 3 episodes were pretty shit. 3rd season. All that
brain, everybody talks about
swapping bodies with a girl, and all that sort of thing,
Yeah, because that's the last episode, and there's no ending, is there? That's how it just ends normally, as if it.
Well, they actually turned around and said, "Do you know what? He did a really good job there because he actually played a woman inside himself."
Yeah, he
did. They said, and he actually overhands it, but he actually does it. Why are you taking any room? Why aren't you taking any bother of me? I'm the captain. I'm the captain. You can't this to me. I was going, Actually, you're doing a really good job here. I think this is really quite good.
Tony says, your review of Horrors of the Black Museum prompted me to watch another in the Loose trilogy, Ian, Circus of Horrors, with a very brief appearance by Donald Pleasance, and the villain played default German officer from the 50s and 60s. Oh, yeah, Anton Diffring. He popped up in so many of those appearances. You Nazi. If you wanted a Nazi.
I'm still to get around to watching that.
Yeah. It's a great... I really enjoyed that Black...
I've downloaded it. I haven't got round to watching it yet.
Yeah, it's a great film. Really loved it.
Because you recommended it. Because you recommended it, I downloaded it.
Yeah. I think you'll love it. You love Michael Goff is fantastic in it. I love it. And because Donald Pleasance, how many films did he make these appearances?
Bloody hell.
He must have been anything.
He's in Fantastic Voyage.
Yeah. Anything. He'd pop up in it. He loved a good check, didn't he?
See, I was going to do a capsule review of that film, and I was going to do it in the voice style of Ian Hill.
Oh dear me.
Bayek, have you watched this film? It's called Black Museum, lad. I'll tell thee now. Anyway, carry on.
Hey, Bayek, lad. I'd love to see that you doing a voice one of your film reviews like
I'll do it as a 1 minute short.
Oh dear.
I'll do it as TikTok.
Mukbang movies. I agree. Fortunately, they tied Fringe up. Fortunately, they knew it did have a loyal fan base and decided to finish the series properly. That's true. They did something similar with Farscape. Finished it with a 2-hour film. Yeah, they got the film, didn't they, for Farscape?
And have you noticed that Fringe was Fox, Farscape was Fox?
Yeah.
Firefly, which is the most underrated science fiction thing that you'll ever come across.
That's right.
Ended after 13 episodes and was done by Fox.
Fox, yeah.
Everything science fiction, Fox, they killed.
I know. What was the point? Yeah. Yeah. Oh dear. There was a drama show me and my wife watched with Girl from Tomorrow. Landing it. A character was called Lux. Only had a few seasons, but it clearly got cancelled. But the final episodes were an end in which made all the difference. Unlike Jericho, which I think was finished.
Jericho ended up as a comic. Yeah,
so that got cancelled, didn't it?
Firefly ended up as a film called Serenity.
Yeah, they did that. Yeah,
and then that continued as a comic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we have got Through the Lens. Josh.
Hey, Josh.
How's it going? Hello.
He's done a couple of more film reviews, and he's finally getting around to putting some stuff out again. I do mean to get to watch those, but trouble is he's reviewing his stuff again that I haven't got round seeing yet.
Yeah.
But he's just put up his review of Gladiator.
Yeah. Oh, look at this. Ian's caught Dell's ranting disease.
Yeah.
Well, I went on a rant.
You see?
Yeah, it's infectious. You have to watch it.
It's called being an old bastard. That's
we love it. We feel we can do it. Just do it, can't we?
Because I am an old bastard. Yeah. I've turned into my dad.
Yeah, you got to rant about everything.
Not round to being like my dad.
Bayek. Sorry for all my typos. I'm on my phone and I ain't trying to type. Yeah, I can understand that.
The amount of time my phone auto-corrects.
The auto. Oh, it's annoying. I wish you could turn that off sometimes.
You can, and I haven't got around to doing it.
It's awful.
Predictive text, they call it.
Yeah. I had a few things delivered today. Fright Night Part 2, 1988. Spanish Blu-ray. You also get Fright Night as an extra disc. That sounds good. Prison, 1987. Ghost Town, 1988. One Good Cop, 1991, starring Michael Keaton. Oh.
I saw One Cop at the cinema.
Yeah.
Fright Night Part 2 I saw at the cinema, and the only way you can get Fright Night Part 2 on Blu-ray is foreign.
Yeah.
I think for a time you could get it from Germany.
Yeah.
I'm having to think back now to what old friends used to tell me.
Yeah.
But I always turned around and said, yeah, but we all want Fright Night Part 2 as a 4K. That's what we want.
Yeah.
They've done a lovely 4K steelbook. Let's have a part 2. They've done the David Tennant remake, even as even as a steelbook and 4K. Why can't they get to do the part 2? It's what fans want. It's almost like The Hitcher. People are going, oh, for God's sake, just get that out. People will buy it. It's like Monster Club as well.
What's Fright Night Part 2 like?
Sorry, Monster Squad, isn't it?
I've not seen Fright Night Part 2.
Oh, it's
brilliant. A good sequel?
Yeah. I mean, I much prefer the first one. Some people will say the second one's better. I think the second one's got a bit too much humor in it. I mean, at the end of the day, the first one has got it all, hasn't it? Because I mean, you got Roddy McDowall. He's the aging.
He's brilliant.
TV presenter, a bit like Elvira, that basically, believes, is next door. The neighbor, that there is a vampire actually living next door. I mean, it's a great story.
It is. Yeah.
Fright Night Part 2 is the series wasn't cancelled. So it sort of continues. It's good. It is good. It's almost like it's the same debacle. Which is better, Short Circuit or Short Circuit 2?
All right. Yeah.
It's that same debacle. Which is better, Fright Night or Fright Night Part 2? Do you know what I mean?
All right.
I try not to look at it like that. I try to look at it as, no, they're bloody both good.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, if anything's got Roddy McDowall in it, I'll buy it.
Yeah.
I like Roddy McDowall.
Yeah, I do. Who doesn't? What a voice.
The Martian Chronicles, he's in that. He's in Columbo. He's in everything. He's in Planet of the Apes. He's in, I buy everything with him in it.
Yeah, fantastic. Charles says, Ian and Del, have you watched Midas Man yet? Or have you forgot?
No, it's not. I haven't forgot it. It's just, it's about Brian Epstein, isn't it? I haven't quite got around to watching it yet because I've been watching a lot of other Beatles stuff that I haven't got around to watching, like 8 Days and all of this sort of stuff. The Peter Jackson.
Oh,
Beatles
right. Yeah.
Yes. There's an awful lot that I want to watch before I actually get to Midas Man, but I am interested in Brian Epstein. So, it's not that I've forgotten Charles. It's a lot to watch.
Yeah. Oh, this is what Jamie's saying. Here we go. Cuckoo gets 78% on Rotten Tomatoes. That's not bad. Almost an 8 out of 10. Yeah, it still doesn't change my opinion.
Yeah, and by the way, 78% is still 7 out of 10, whichever way you look at it.
But as
it's not 8 out of 10. If it was 8 out of 10, it'd be 80% or above, wouldn't it? So it's 7, isn't it? 7 out of 10.
I always, it's funny, Rotten Tomatoes, I always use it often to show how out of touch critics are. It's low or up. So there we are. It might kind of prove my point. 78% is not a bad score, but
So is the tagline to this thing, Cuckoo, you definitely will be if you watch this film.
Yeah, I like that one. Yeah, perhaps I could put that on actually. Yeah,
that's the Ian Hill tagline, is it?
And I cause an international incident by saying put daft German film on your
Yeah.
posters.
Put
And
that German
we'll start
film
off
on.
another war or something. Yeah.
Buy Ekland, watch German shit.
Let's face it, it's not in Yorkshire, therefore it has to be not very good. It's not got James Mason in it. Bloody hell. What's going on?
Believe it or not, there is a lot of films that haven't got James Mason in it.
I know, even films that I absolutely love, but there we are.
Jesus Christ, man. Been dead how many years?
A long time. It's early, is it early 80s? I think about 83.
Yeah.
James Mason died, yeah. Well, James McAvoy is very good. I'm going to promote him. Yeah, after that last film I just saw, James McAvoy. Might have to get Fright Night too. I remember enjoying it back in the VHS days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, there are a lot of bootlegs about. I don't think that film is a bootleg. I think it's just the fact that they've got the actual license over there.
Yeah.
Because I bought Pacific Heights as a Blu-ray.
Yeah.
And
that's
people
got
were telling me,
licensing
you bought a bootleg,
Yeah.
I tell you what, it's the best bloody looking bootleg
Yeah.
I bought.
Yeah. Oh, this is interesting. Listen to this. Steve's Gaming. I've been trying to get the complete box set of Quincy on DVD for months. 140 quid on Amazon. Where do we get these prices from? Stuff that 140 quid.
Yeah, but this is the trouble. The thing about Quincy, right? They only released the first 3 seasons over here. They released all 9 or 10, is it 8, 9, 10 seasons of Quincy over in the States? And you can now get it on Blu-ray over there, right?
Yeah.
But if he wants, even if you were to go, like to the depths of the earth, you will not get PAL versions of Quincy because they only did 3 seasons of it. It will be American because they never released it, only in the States.
Yeah.
So you would have to. Well, it's not difficult. Like I say, you can actually put in a code into your DVD player and basically get it to play American. It's Blu-ray players and 4K players that
actually
sometimes codes don't work.
Yeah, the Blu-ray one's harder to do, I find, but I've got one now totally converted to playing.
There is a website called AV Forums.
Yeah.
Right, it's avforums.com. All you have to do is go to the forums, type in your player name, and you'll probably find a code.
Yeah.
There are hacks. You can obviously get your player multi-regioned by a chip. A lot of them are done that way.
Yeah.
But as far as I'm concerned, if you're ever concerned about watching American stuff, the first thing you want to do is go into the AV forums, right? Find the players that everybody has got a hack that works, and then buy that player from Amazon.
Yeah.
You'll probably find you can buy a £30 DVD player, and you can just go to the AV forums, put the code in, and there you are. Right? But as it is, my Blu-ray players and my DVD players are all multi-region. It's only my 4K that's not.
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to say about that is I can't put a Blu-ray in my 4K player.
Yes, yeah.
And
but
play
you can
it, right?
Others. Yeah.
I have to put my Blu-ray in my Blu-ray player, my 3D player, the one that plays 3D movies, to get multi-region to work. And the reason for that is, and I've told the story a million times, I was going to buy the Panasonic 820B player, and they upgraded it to the 9000 for me. That's the top of the range Panasonic. It's the one with the metal chassis.
Yeah.
And I only had to pay an extra £100 over the price of the 820. So I got it for 550 quid, I think, my 9000 player. It's £1,000 player, that.
Yeah.
And I didn't give a shit that it was not multi-region when somebody gives you £1,000 player for 550 quid. I went, yeah. And all because they cocked up.
Yeah, yeah.
They were going to lose the TV, the amp, everything, right? Because they were supposed to install it that same day.
Yeah, yeah.
And the player, when they took it out the box, was smashed.
Wow.
It actually broken in transit.
Yeah.
And I said, well, when can you get another one? Oh, we don't know when we'll get another one. Could be 4
Oh,
weeks. And I said, well, I don't want
what?
this TV and
Yeah,
amp if it's
yeah.
going to be 4 weeks away.
Of
And they
course.
said,
Yeah.
well, we've got the shop version of the 9000 player, so you can have that. But it is the shop version. It's the one that's been playing in the shop for.
Yeah.
And I said, well, how long has it been playing in the shop? He said 2 months. I said, oh, I'll have that's
all
like
right.
next,
Yeah.
next
Yeah.
to nothing.
Yeah. And you did well.
So,
Yeah.
Quincy,
So-
yeah, you're never going to get PAL versions of Quincy on DVD beyond season 4.
Yeah.
Not going to happen because it was never released.
Yeah. Yeah. What movies? There is, yes.
Well, it is. It's expensive because
Yeah.
it's hard to get hold of.
Yeah. Tony says, I guess Quincy has quite a few episodes. Is that a Blu-ray price?
You can actually buy it on Blu-ray cheaper than that DVD price. I can tell you that now.
Wow. Yeah.
It was only released last year on Blu-ray.
Yeah. Steve Mull says, I would like to see a film of the Submariner, one of my favorite comic book characters I loved to read when I was a kid.
So did I.
Yeah.
Submariner. The trouble is, the Submariner is going to be a bit like Aquaman.
Yeah.
And Aquaman didn't do very well for DC. The trouble is, as a kid, I used to call him Submariner.
Yeah.
Right? Because I didn't know how to pronounce it.
No.
Yeah. But his name's Namor. Namor the Submariner.
Yeah.
And it was good, you know. I mean, it's like the Prince of Atlantis. He doesn't like the fact that humans are polluting the sea. He tries to stop. But then again, that's Aquaman.
Yeah.
So, but Submariner ended up being a sort of like an anti-hero for the Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
You might see him because he might turn up in the Fantastic Four film.
Yeah.
Might do.
Tony says, sorry, I just noticed you said DVD does seem expensive. Yeah. What movie? Season 3, 20 quid.
Yeah, because it's the UK version of Quincy, season 3. You won't find a season 4, never came out.
No. Steve's going, yeah, it's a rip-off, and yes, normal DV, not Blu-ray. Full series of Quincy on eBay for $99.99.
And it will be American.
100 quid. Always make me laugh that 1 penny makes it look as if it's 100 quid, which it is technically.
And like I say, it'll be region 1.
Yeah. Ouch. Yeah. Steven says Marvel need to go through the comics and do characters which they haven't done movies about, because it's getting boring with them focusing on the same characters all the time.
It's such a difficult subject that, just to go past it a little bit, they have been doing characters that have been in the comics that are not the same. Because if you think about it, they've done Morbius, and they've done Madam Web, and they're just about to bring out Craven, and all of this sort of stuff. And if you look at the TV lineup, they're doing Ironheart, which is the woman's version of Iron Man.
Oh, right.
Which is woke. You see what I mean? And Thor, the last Thor, had Thor as a woman.
Oh, God.
Wasn't it? It was Thor, God and Thunder.
Oh, it was awful.
And it had Thor as lady, as you know.
Yeah.
It was the lady version.
Yeah.
This is all what's in Marvel Comics at the moment. I agree. There is a lot of stuff that they haven't done, like movie versions of like Luke Cage, Iron Fist.
Yeah.
a movie version, like I say, a Daredevil. Try doing that again, because the
Yeah,
Daredevil,
Daredevil.
the
Yeah,
Ben Affleck version of Daredevil wasn't that bad.
yeah,
You know, there is a lot of characters, you know, that they could do. But the trouble is, they want to do the big hitters, the ones that sell comics, because what it is, Disney bought Marvel as a comic book franchise, as a, you know, a going concern.
yeah,
And when they do a movie, they hope it will sell the comic. Right? They're
yeah.
not interested in bringing out a Morbius comic.
No.
What they are interested in is bringing out an Iron Man comic that makes you go
But-
out and buy
yes.
Iron Man books.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is why they love it when Spider-Man films come up, because I tell you what, all of the Spider-Man comic prices go through the roof.
Yeah.
And everybody buys them. You know, there's like variant covers and all sorts of shit, right? So, yeah. But, you know, when you say other characters, you got what I'm trying to you is name some.
Yeah.
That they haven't done, because they have turned up, like how the Duck's been in.
Yeah.
And the Galaxy's been in.
And look what's happened with Madam Web.
I mean, there are some
failure.
There are
It's
some
terrible.
characters like Silver Surfer's been done. You've got Valkyrie. You could do that, but that turned up in 4.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they have actually brought in. They could do the Defenders, because there's Doctor Strange, Valkyrie, the Hulk. See what I mean? But at the end of the day, like I said, they've turned up in either group films or they've come up in their own individual films. You've had the X-Men's coming out now again. I mean, do you know there's about 177 X-Men individual characters?
Cool.
So you've only seen about 30.
Yeah.
So there is a ton. But you know,
God,
I don't think you'll see a Kitty Pryde film.
No.
I don't think you'll see do you see what I mean? I don't think you'll see a Storm film. I don't think you'll see a Colossus film.
Have they got any new X-Men film scheduled then now?
Yeah, X-Men is after Fantastic Four as a medium to bring back.
Interesting.
Which is why they're saying you'll never see Hugh Jackman as Wolverine again, because it's too far off. Be about 3 years' time, he'll be in his bloody 60s.
Yeah. So they're going to recast the whole X-Men.
They'll have to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is why you're not going to have the Avengers as you knew them. You're going to have the new Avengers, right?
Yeah.
The new Avengers will be Spider-Man. He'll be a new Avenger.
Yeah.
You know, it will be, you know, in the the Avengers, if you look at the Avengers roster, there's been about 160 people that have been in the Avengers.
Oh.
The roster has changed year after year after year. The comic has been out 60 odd years.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you don't think they kept the same layout of 5 people, do you?
No, right? Exactly.
It's had people come in and go and all of this sort of stuff. She-Hulk has been in the Avengers.
Yeah.
Thing's been in the Avengers. You know, you've had Wonder Man. Wonder Man's coming out, by the way, the end of next year.
Oh, dear.
All sorts, you see.
Yeah.
You know, Marvel aren't doing it, but I just think that the thing about Marvel for me is do what you want on the TV. Just don't bring out 3 films a year. It's stupid.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say stick to TV.
As far as I know, they've got 2 films coming out next year. It could be 3. I think that's wrong. I think you should stick to 1, possibly 2.
Yeah. 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 Yeah, I do. We'll see what happens, but yeah.
Yeah, they won't listen to us.
No.
They concentrate on greed.
Yeah. I was thinking Patrick Stewart, he must have retired now virtually from acting. I mean, in Picard, he looked pretty fragile, didn't he?
Well, he did say that was the end of that. Picard doesn't want to play that character anymore.
Yeah, but I mean, acting as well.
I don't know. Maybe he's still on. I think he still does stage.
It's really wow. He must be very fit. He must really be very fit.
Well, he is.
Yeah, really.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Tony says it's an Australian release on Amazon for Quincy. They are usually expensive. I got call check
No.
Stalker
Just before
DV.
you go any further, I
Yeah.
didn't I haven't checked to see whether Quincy was Australian. If it is, that's PAL.
Yeah. So yeah, Night Stalker. It was Australian, but only a handful of episodes, so not too expensive.
I got the
Right.
whole of the Kolchak Night Stalker on DVD when it came out in PAL in 2001.
I bet it's expensive now,
It's
isn't it?
expensive now.
Yeah.
And that came out as a complete series.
Yeah.
It had the film, the very first episode, which was a film.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
Was part of the set.
Yeah.
You know, that is a PAL.
Yeah.
You can get that as PAL. I didn't think about Australian, you know, for Quincy.
Yeah.
I always thought when I was researching Quincy 5 years ago, I went to Wiki and it said only the first 3 seasons came out in the UK. All the seasons came out eventually in America.
Yeah.
It's getting a Blu-ray release. I knew the Blu-ray did come out because it came out very close to when Cheers came out.
Yeah.
And everybody on YouTube was turning around and saying, thank God we're starting to get TV stuff in Blu-ray format now, like Cheers, Frasier, all of that sort of stuff, which should have been done. They were hoping that Taxi was going to get the Blu-ray treatment. The Mary Tyler Moore Show was going to get the Blu-ray treatment.
Yeah.
Bob Newhart Show, you know, all of that sort of stuff. They were hoping all that stuff was coming out on Blu-ray. Quincy, to me, was one that I would buy because I love Quincy.
Yeah.
Jack Klugman. I'd buy that and The Odd Couple.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Because obviously Jack Klugman played The Odd Couple as a TV show with Tony Randall.
Yeah.
Playing Max. No, he played the other one, didn't he? Max was played by Jack Klugman. So yeah, I'm going to look that up. Australian. I want to buy the Blu-ray anyway of it.
Yeah, yeah. Muckman says I watched I Vampiri last night. The ingenious special effects by Mario Brava. Oh yeah, are incredible for a 50s film. Yeah.
Have you seen I Vampiri?
Sorry?
Have you seen I Vampiri?
No, I've not seen that. I've heard of course Mario Brava, but I've not seen that film. No.
Have you seen David Niven play a vampire?
Oh, and there is that. Yeah, there's a very
Blackula, isn't it? Was it Blackula? Is it?
Something like that, yeah. Bookman says, I've always had an eye on buying the Kolchak TV show, but never pull the trigger. I need to, though.
Yeah. You know, I'm so happy I've got something Bookman hasn't got.
Yeah. But
up yours, you bastard. Up yours, you bastard. I've got something you ain't got.
I recently got the 2 Night Stalker movies for £17 each on Blu-ray and got the TV series for £12 off eBay. That was a bargain. 12.
Like I said, you could buy that box set because it never sold in the early 2000s, right? And then suddenly everybody wanted it, and everybody put the price up to like 50 quid and shit.
Yeah, 12 quid is absolutely did well there.
I always remember the title sequence because it's him whistling, isn't it?
Yeah. Rabid Dogs is a brutal 70s drama. Very difficult production history, unseen until the 90s. All right.
You want to go up to Leeds? They've got loads of rabid dogs up there. You don't have to wait.
Oh dear. Just after Night Stalker movies on DVD, Tony says, I think Mario Brava is a brilliant director. His artistry and eye for detail is incredible. Yeah, he's very well respected.
I've heard very much a
Yeah.
lot of good things about him. Yeah.
Stephen Bowles, has anyone seen Monster Dog starring Alice Cooper?
I can tell you now, I haven't. I haven't.
I would do, though. I like Alice Cooper.
You like Alice Cooper, do you?
Yeah, of course I do. Great music. But I know about his acting, but yeah, everybody sees him in the...
I thought you liked the Wurzels and shit like that.
No. I like music, albums.
You're in Leeds, and you like the
Oh,
Wombles and
Wurzels.
the Wombles, the Wurzels, and all of that.
Southern bloody softy stuff. It's southern softy stuff, Wurzels. What do you bloody think? What do you think we have that rubbish?
I thought your favourite advert was the Country Life butter adverts.
Oh,
anyway, go on.
Oh, Johnny Rotten doing it. Yeah. I should say John Lydon. Nope, I've seen Alice go live a few times though. Have you? Wow. Brilliant.
Don't worry. You can get inoculated for that.
Yeah. What's your favourite Alice Cooper album then?
No, don't bother answering that
I
shit.
think would be Killer or $1 Billion Babies. Yeah.
Honestly, don't ask him. I don't want to know.
Well,
Alice Bleeding Cooper.
Yeah, if I said, "Oh, Alice Cooper there was a soundtrack recording from Jerry Goldsmith in this film," you go, "Oh yeah, brilliant film, absolutely
That's
brilliant."
Never gonna bleed napping, is it?
Yeah. So it wouldn't matter anything. I can hear you ranking up those Jerry Goldsmith vibes every time I mention a film. I'm thinking, "Hey up, Jerry Goldsmith," and then off we go.
Who's my favorite? Who's my favorite composer?
Jerry Goldsmith.
No.
Oh. Morricone.
Jerry Goldsmith is my third favorite.
Morricone.
Nope.
Honor.
Nope.
Oh, Mozart.
No. Well, no.
I put Mozart in because I thought, well, let's get down to tact. Go on then.
Georges Delarue.
Well, there you are. So, yeah. Is that by a long way, or is it very?
Oh no, it's very close. Ennio Morricone is second.
Yeah. Okay.
And after Jerry Goldsmith, it's Bernstein.
Oh yeah, well, I knew Bernstein had to come into it. I don't know much about film soundtracks, but Bernstein is a Hitchcock masterpiece. Definitely. Yeah.
Anyway, I bet that McMahon bastard comes back with an answer for that one.
But anyway, Alice Cooper albums, remember. Which is your favourite? And do you think the Alice Cooper band, the first one, because don't forget, Alice Cooper was originally the band.
Will you shut it about Alice Bleeding Cooper?
Alice Cooper. But Alice Cooper, do you think the first incarnation is the best?
No, I don't want any more Alice Cooper crap.
Yeah, so we'll have that. I thought we getting away from these.
You're both picking on me now
every week. Oh, so and so film score.
Let's have a great discussion. Let's have a great discussion about 2001, shall we? Yeah, let's have a 25-minute discussion about why 2001 is a good bloody film.
2001 Rigsby Rising Damp.
Because that's just as bad as Alice Cooper is for me.
Alice Cooper's not bad.
He's not bad, but I don't want a bloody 20-minute discussion about what albums are bloody.
His albums, definitely, yeah. Killer is underrated, totally. Tony, on the subject of Italians, first time watch of The Case of the Bloody Iris, 1972. This week, heroine was the Queen of Giallos, Edwidge Fenwick. Highly recommended. Even add some touches of comedy, including a stamp collecting police detective It sounds good. I quite like it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all to be seen on Ian's channel when Tony Bloody York sends them to Ian next week.
Yeah,
The bastard.
he's
Yeah.
so jealous. It's so unbelievable, isn't it? Every week.
I've got to have a rant. It's the law.
The Delboy rants, but
It's the law.
I've had mine on Joker, so I suppose it's time for the Delboy rant.
It's only to make people laugh.
Yeah.
You know full well I don't care about whether you have a conversation about Alice Cooper or not. I'm just having a rant.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I mean, I didn't really mean it about Cuckoo. Well, I did, but I thought I just.
But what I want to get across is that I actually love all sorts of music.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
You know, and I wouldn't turn around ever and say you're a weirdo for liking that musician.
I think everybody's got a different taste, and that's good. You know,
the only thing about Alice Cooper that I can say about it is I just don't know enough for me to actually have a conversation, and I feel alienated if you start doing that.
Yeah,
so
I suppose I do when you're talking about, PS5s and thing, but we don't have that much on here. Not that if people want to talk about gaming on here, that's fine, because Delboy knows what he's on about, so that's quite fine.
Oh, I just answered the question to get it out of the way.
Yeah, I don't mind. Any Delboy's fans of his channel who love gaming. Incidentally, QQ, if you haven't subscribed to Delboy's channel, please subscribe. If you're new to this live chat, he's got a brilliant channel. It's the description. It's in the description. The link to his channel. Please give it a good look if you haven't seen it. He is well known for the blog, which is brilliant, but he does much more than that. There's all sorts of things on there. If you're interested in gaming, you'll love it. If you're interested in films, he does these film reviews as well. It's all there. So if you're new, please go and check it out. It's really grand.
Should I just turn around and say something? What? You've actually remembered to put a bloody link in your description, have you? Christ!
Yeah, I do it every week.
I nearly fell off my chair then.
Every week, lad.
Shock surprise! Ian remembered to put a link in his description. Bloody hell! Jesus Christ!
And thank you for mentioning me in your blog as well. Thank you.
Oh man. Look,
that's really grand.
When somebody puts something out, right, and I watch it, I mention it, right? Now, I don't watch an awful lot, so, and I'm big on community. So if I watch it, I mention it. If I don't watch it, I don't mention it.
Yeah.
So if something I watch and I like, then I want to promote it, right? Now, how much stuff do you bring out?
Quite a bit, yeah. I know.
Right? No word. Look, honestly, right? I mean, Christ, man, you need to calm down a bit, right? I'll turn. Look, this is just how I do my blog, right? Right. See that big section there? Look, that's Ian, right? I swear, this guy wants me to run out of ink every week. Right, in my blog, he just doesn't know when to stop.
I have to plan ahead.
Here's my top 5 for 2000. Here's my top 5 2001. Here's my top 5 2002. Oh, I wonder if I'm going to do 7 of them. Oh, look, 7 days a week. I think I'll do one every 7. Then I'll do my X-Files. Then
guess what new series will be coming up.
Then I'll do this. Then I'll do this album. Then I'll do this special effects fucking magazine. Then I'll do this bloody review. Then I'll do this bloody Blu-ray that I've got in. Then I'll do an unboxing. And I'm going, gee, slow down.
Yeah.
For fuck's sake,
I do plans.
I do 5 videos, and I think I'm going over the top. It does 2 a day.
The horror.
14 videos a week.
The horror is going to end soon. So exclusive on here. Guess what subject will be the next one? It'll be sci-fi. I'm going into sci-fi films next. My top 5 sci-fi films.
You
I
know
haven't
that
started
you
them
know we
yet.
were
but I'm
talking. You
gonna-
know when we were talking about unification, right? Which is that
Yeah.
new 10-minute Star Trek thing.
Yeah, yeah.
William Shatner actually turned around and said something that I forgot. Really, he actually turned around and said, "The thing I like about sci-fi over stuff that I've done, through my career," he said, "sci-fi is about possibilities.
Yes, yeah.
Horror is about how many different ways that you could torture or kill someone." And I went, "Do you know what? That's a bloody good way of looking at it." Because sci-fi is all about make-believe. Could this
Yeah.
happen? Could it not happen?
Yeah.
Who knew when Star Trek came out that we'd have communicators called phones in our hands? You know what I mean? And all of that sort of stuff. They've actually come out with scanning devices to find out whether you've got cancer and all of
Yeah.
that sort of stuff. I mean, the stuff that's in there is actually out there now. I love horror, but really, if you
Yeah.
think about it, horror is all about how many different ways can I show somebody's hand being chopped off?
Well, it isn't actually, but that's your argument. I can prove to you that it's not about all that.
I did say I love horror, right?
Yeah.
But if you think about it, what I said was torture and horror. Mental torture is one way of torture. What I'm actually saying is it is a bit closed because there's romance and torture and horror, and they're all intertwined into one. But at the end of the day, horror is mostly about how to kill someone. 90% of it. Would you say that was wrong? It's 90% how to kill or how to mentally disturb someone.
I think that's a better. The last bit, how to mentally disturb somebody.
Yeah,
is
but
true, but
isn't there a word called mental torture?
I was going to say, you are forgetting one thing that is horror is also renowned for, and one major stream is supernatural. Supernatural. There's a lot of interest in supernatural.
I call that fantasy.
Is not always about killing and torturing.
Supernatural is a gateway between fantasy, science fiction, and horror. It's a hybrid.
That's why horror goes so well with virtually every genre.
Yeah, I am talking about the pure term science fiction and the pure term horror, not hybrids, because there's sci-fi horror.
Of course there is, and that's what I mean.
And William Shatner said sci-fi is possibilities.
Yeah, and horror is about imagination in many ways, because imagination, which is interesting, because sci-fi is about possibilities, but to that you need imagination.
Yeah, I was going to say imagination is
imagination in horror.
I wouldn't use the word imagination because that covers both areas. I'm talking about science fiction. It's all about possibilities. Possibilities.
Yeah.
Now, how do you encapsulate the word horror then? And I turn around and go, it's really two things, really, and it's mental and it's graphic, and those are the two things that horror really encapsulate, don't they?
Yeah, psychology, I think.
So again, that's what I said. Mental,
which is
that's
the
why
mind.
I said mental.
Yeah, the mind, because the mind creates so many different things. It creates the horror side.
I'm turning around now and saying I love horror, right? I love horror. I bought no end of it, right? I'm not trying to poo-poo it, but it's just that William Shatner came up with such a big word, possibilities. You haven't really got a big word for horror, have you?
I think I don't necessarily look at it like that, but I know what you mean. I can see that when you said possibilities, that is a massive expanse of things. Word. But horror in itself, once you dissect it, once you know when somebody
But you
says
do a lot in horror.
you end up with a massive possibilities. You end up with the same kind of elements as sci-fi has got, because you've got such a wide possible. It's about the human condition, the human side.
I think, Ian, we ought to do a special on that one day, right? I've always considered horror to be a little bit more closed than science fiction. That's all I'm trying to get at, right? I don't think I'm wrong in saying that, because in horror, it's all about, you know, scare.
Yeah.
And science fiction is all about the where your imagination can take you.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I love science fiction. It's one of my favorites. I equal sci-fi and horror.
If you look at A Nightmare on Elm Street, if you look at Friday the 13th, if you look at Nightbreed, if you look at Salem's Lot, if you look at, and these are all, by the way, favorite films of mine. That's why I'm mentioning them. If you look at Hammer Horror, they're all about how can I kill this person.
There is, when you just dropped in Hammer Horror, of course, which Hammer Horror, that as it's very much
all right, 90% of Hammer Horror.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all about, you know, I mean, if you look at it, there's Dracula and there's killing by blood by taking.
It's all about really frightening people, or making them uneasy in their senses, and it tries to kind of unsettle people. That's the idea. People, for some reason, like that. People like being unsettled. I don't know why, but it's a thing.
You see, you're going down a route now that makes it look like I don't like horror. It's not about that. I was trying to talk about the infinite. The infinite word of possibilities, and how I think horror is a little bit more closed. And all I'm saying about it is horror, therefore, is a restrictive medium, and science fiction is a non-restrictive medium.
Yeah. Well,
because it's where you want to take it. You want to invent a new whatever. You encapsulate it under science fiction, but horror, you will eventually come to the end of all the possibilities of killing someone, mentally torturing someone, scaring someone.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm talking about? All you've got to do is take off into space, and you can make up whatever you want.
Now, the other thing is, sci-fi, like horror, has broadened from its original idea. If you went back to 1930s and asked what horror is, people give you a certain viewpoint. They'll look at the Universal pictures and things like that. Sci-fi, they'll look at H.G. Wells and that kind of thing and see it as sci-fi. But of course, our definitions now of both are so wider and much different. Sci-fi is like horror. It's developed its own sort of thing. It's expanded and it's continued. And then they cross over. They've come to the point where both are not really always divided. You say some of the best films have been sci-fi horror.
Like I said,
Alien is the classic example. Alien.
I really love horror. I mean, I can sit down and watch a horror and I'll be entertained by it every time I watch it, right? I remember sitting down to watch Star Trek, right? Scotty was down as being a murderer.
Yeah. Oh, yes. I
remember that episode, and then it was all about Jack the Ripper.
Yeah.
And this Jack the Ripper was a cloud that actually basically went from body to body and ended up being on a planet 60,000 million light years away from where it originally turned up. I thought, now there's where I'm talking about possibilities. And Jack the Ripper was a character that nobody really knows if who it was, but it went around obviously mentally disturbed, going around killing prostitutes with knives and scalpels, and it was all about dismemberment and all of that sort of stuff. What I'm saying is Star Trek incorporated that and put in light speed and everything else that you can actually and timey-wimey stuff and everything. So what I'm saying is it's possibilities. again. And Jack the Ripper, if you think about it, even back in the 60s, Jack the Ripper is a two-dimensional character.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean? So Star Trek made it a three-dimensional character by saying, hey, how about thinking about it like this point of view? The reason you never found Jack the Ripper back in the 1890, whatever it was, is because he was a gaseous cloud that buggered off into space. What a brilliant idea. How bonkers can you be?
Yeah. Or he'd come into the modern world.
So I'm just going to end it here and just turn around and say, look, I love horror. I really do. I've got no end of horror. I brought that into conversation just because William Shatner said science fiction is all about possibilities. And I thought to myself, do you know what? How lyrical that sounds.
Yeah.
It's absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous to actually have a man turn around and say that. And, you know, I love horror, and I can watch Hostel, and I can watch all of those.
Yeah.
You know, the that series that you like as well, the Final Destination. I think they're all wonderful films.
Yeah.
And they're not restrictive to me. That's why we're still making them now.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's got the big. I don't think it's got the big word-like possibilities in its makeup. That's it. That's all. But it's still a huge thing. And a thing I love.
Well, you can't say fairer than that, really. You can't. I'll tell you what, we better move on with these comments.
Sorry.
Let's see. I want to see Danger Diabolique by Bravo. Yeah. I have Danger Diabolique, Jamie. I think it was an Australian release. Oh, crikey. Yeah, again. Talking of animation, do you both enjoy animated films? If so, what are your favorites?
Yeah, I love animation. Depends. Are you talking film or TV or both or what?
Yeah.
Because I can mention things like Akira, Legend of the Overfiend. I could talk about the BFG. I could talk about. Oh, I could just go on. Snow White from the 40s. I could be talking. You know, I mean, Aristocats. I could be talking.
Yeah, well, I like traditional Disney. I love the traditional Disney animated films.
There's Don Bluth's animation, you know, and all sorts of stuff.
But I don't like the. I don't like these all new animation. You know, they always stick an animated film on Christmas Day, and on TV, and it's always this boring animation that they put on.
Yeah, but I tell you what, I still think, and I will not poo-poo it, that Toy Story had to be made.
I love Toy Story, but that's it.
It had to be made.
Yeah.
As much as you could turn around and say the downfall of animation has been computer generated animation,
and it gets on
Toy Story had to be made.
Yeah,
and I'd never turn around.
I agree. Yeah, but there's just something about it. But I think a lot of people do like it. You know, and I'm not. You know, it's just.
I mean, the local animation. I've seen Castlevania on Netflix recently.
Yeah,
that was great. That was based on a computer game series, but Castlevania is great. It's very horror orientated.
Yeah.
Again, I'm bringing up horror there because that's really, I mean, it really has got a horror overtone in that. Castlevania. We're talking about Dracula at the end of the day. So brilliant. Yeah.
Let's have a look. I might try and find a copy of Danger I can't say it now. Diabolic, Tony. 150 sci-fi TV. I'm buying that for the wife. Thanks, Del. Looks like it'll be a fun watch.
Yes.
There you are.
It's literally, it is only 15, it's about 15, 20 quid, I think.
Yeah. We Bob Laugh my ass out.
Tarantula.
That on to sounds like an adult French
No, you
film.
called it Tarantula, didn't you? Or something? Sounded like Tarantino, I think.
A tarantula it was, wasn't it? Yeah. Ian, I have a copy of Tantula if you're interested.
Tarantula.
Oh, dear. Who's Tantula? Oh, right, thank you. I don't know where that accent came from, but yeah, thank you. Damn, it's only available as a region 1.
Yeah, but you, like I said, AV Forums will turn your DVD player into a multi-region player. It'll cost you nothing. I bet you any money your DVD player will be so old that you've still got that you'll be able to do it with a code. If you've got a newer DVD player, then it's harder, right? But I bet you any money, I bet your DVD player is a little bit older, and therefore,
Yeah. Tony says, Steve, I got a hack from eBay to make my Blu-ray player multi-region for DVDs. I think it was only about $5. Oh well.
Yeah, and you probably won't even know that if you go to AV Forums. But you're quite right. Go on eBay. There is no end of people that basically have codes. Yeah, and you can just buy them for $5. And there you are.
Yeah,
it's worth getting it. Yeah. It's worth doing it just because you can buy that set that I've got there for 15 quid. You know, I mean.
What says try the IP Man film.
Oh, the IP films, yeah.
Starring Donnie Yen. They're great martial arts films for the uninitiated. I have heard of that Donnie Yen. I've heard that.
My friend Kelly bought IP Man, the very first one. And I think it was because he said it's science fiction, you know. And I went, is it? Yeah. And then he lied to me because it was martial arts. Little bastard. Yeah. But it was actually quite fun to watch. It was all right.
Yeah.
Actually, it started my love. It comes along with my love affair of things like what's that one? You know what I'm talking about? The dragon stuff.
Dragon Ball. Is it Dragon Ball?
No. I'm talking about that very Japanese, leaping about in trees.
What is it called? I've forgotten it. There's that. There's quite a famous film.
Yeah, I'm just trying to tell you it. You know,
flying. Oh, crikey!
Hidden Tiger.
My brain's gone. It's fried.
Hidden Tiger, something or other, or whatever.
Yeah, right? It's mentioned all the time. I should know it.
It was all wire work, and I went. Do you know what? I love that film.
Yeah,
loved it.
Yeah. Do you know? I can't. God, hopeless.
It was something like Golden Tiger, Hidden Dragon, or something. I can't remember.
Yeah, it has two sort of. I think dragon is in the title. Yeah. Something like that.
You see, I get to this time of night where it's like 10 to 11, and I go, do you know what? Look here, just because I can't think of it doesn't mean I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. And Bob Up says, of course, need sleep. Have a good one, both of you guys.
He's not here, but I'm putting my thumbs up to my mate. There you are. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Soul Smith.
That's it, Hidden Dragon. Yeah. Muckman Movies, 1 + 1 = 11. Oh, right.
You know what? I used to have a little tale about that, right? There's a famous story for Lloyd's Bank. I'll try and be quick. Famous story about Lloyd's Bank, right? They were looking for a new accountant, right? This is absolutely stonking true. Back in the early 1980s, right? They advertised, right? And 3 people turned up, and one person, they turned around. They said, "Here's the last question. What's 1 + 1?" And this guy turned around and said, I believe it's 2, but I believe that Aristotle turned it out to be 3, and he's a philosopher, so it could be quite true. And they went, okay, we'll come back to you and all that sort of stuff. And then there was this other accountant that came in. They said, what's 1 + 1? He said 2. And he said, okay, we'll come back to you. We're not going to have that. The third person who they interviewed got the job. And they asked him the same question. What's 1 + 1? And he came back saying, what do you want it to be?
Yeah.
Because he was an accountant.
Yes. Yeah.
1 + 1 is never 2. If you're a bloody accountant, always answer, what do you want it to be?
Yeah, it's a great, good story.
That is absolute a true story. But anyway.
Yeah. Tony says, got some bootleg copies of the 2 Tyburn films I mentioned the other week. Oh, yeah, The Ghoul, of course, yeah. And The Legend of the Werewolf. Very much like Hammer Productions. Watchable, but nothing special. Peter Cushing helps. Yeah, he always says whatever.
I think that was the reason why I wrote them down.
He said the same comment, yeah.
Because I'll buy anything with Peter Cushing in, really.
Yeah, it's true. Any film, he just brilliant. So yeah, he says that. Tony says, got from the same source, Night After Night After Night, 1969, a little-known British slasher. Oh, where the villain turned out to be a High Court judge, and The Long Haul with Victor Mature. Oh,
Victor Mature, Cross. I haven't heard of him since The Robe.
Diana Dawes and Patrick Allen as a gangster crooked haulage operator. Both good watchers. Yeah, Patrick Allen pops up in a lot of these sort of films in that era.
Yeah.
Not like a spoiler, Tony, says Muckman Movies. And then, oops. Yeah.
That sounded nothing like Muckman Movies when you said that. Well, go on.
And then 2 good films to check out, Ian and Delboy, Solar Warriors and Ghost Warrior. Great films from the 80s. There you are, recommendation.
Solar Warriors. Why have I heard of that one? See, it's probably just because it's got the word solar in it.
And Ghost.
I've probably never heard of it, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
Solar Warriors. I'll try and remember that one.
And then Tony's laughing there. Steve York, I love The Ghoul, Tony. I have the Blu-ray. Oh, right. Stephen, overall, it was enjoyable. Would have liked to have seen a bit more of the actual Ghoul, Don Henderson, with just one line of dialogue, I think. Oh, yeah, one line. Yeah. There we are. I watched Curse of the Werewolf starring Oliver Reed the other night. I love that movie. I agree. It's a great movie. Love it.
You're just trying to butter yourself up to Ian, look, by saying that.
Yeah,
you know full well that Ian loves that film.
It's a great movie. It is. And Tony says, Oliver Reed, first leading role, I think, mainly bit parts previously. Yeah, that's true. Stephen Wells, I finally found a copy of The Return of the Musketeers at a cheap price on DVD. £11 it used to go for a good bit a few years ago. All right.
Yeah, Denny loves. Denny and I both love Return of the Musketeers and all of that.
Alice Cooper album. I grew up with the Poison album, so that's probably my favorite. Ian,
I'll fall asleep now while you two talk about that.
Muckman Movies, $1 Billion Babies. That's the one that I love. Is a close second. Yeah, it's on Delboy.
Wake me up when you get past it, won't you?
Last time I saw Alice Cooper live, he was playing with Johnny Depp and Joe Perry. Oh, because Johnny Depp pops in, doesn't he, playing guitar? Joe Perry, Aerosmith guy in a super group, Hollywood Vampires. Wow, amazing. Yeah, great act, Alice Cooper. But in Scarborough, even they know Yorkshire is best, of course. And then my movements rant. Yes.
If I weren't going to rant, I'll rant now. Bloody hell. All this love of Leeds and North and shit.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Oh. Alice Cooper comes from frigging Yorkshire, doesn't he? You know what I mean? Bloody
It's
hell.
hopeless. Absolutely hopeless. But there we are. Yeah. It wasn't, Anyhow, what can I say? That's made my night. Can't beat a rant. There you are. You can't beat a rant. Yeah. Ian will need to redo his top 5 horror shorts after he sees The Isle and A Tale of Two Sisters. No, I'm not going to redo them for a long time. Bloody hell! What do you expect me to redo them so quickly? I don't think I can do that. I've done them all now. All my horror ones. Ross says, hello, Del, Ian, and all. Hello, Ross.
Hello,
Thank
Ross.
you for joining. And we've got Tony Oak saying, evening, Ross. Evening, Tony. Steve's Gaming. Jack the Ripper was kidnapped by the Vorlons. There you are.
Yeah, picked up by the Vorlons.
Here we are. What's your favourite Agatha Christie story on film, TV interpretations? There's many. Murder on the Orient Express. Albert Finney always comes to mind for me. I think I like the one with what's his name? The other one who played Poirot, the earlier 70s version.
Yeah, with Betty Davis and all of that in it. Yeah.
What's his name who plays Poirot in that? Big bloke.
Yeah, big bloke, isn't it?
Is it Peter Ustinov? That's it.
Yeah, Peter Ustinov.
Yeah. I love those ones. Yeah. Absolutely love those.
They were the ones that I grew up with.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Orient Express.
Yeah.
Death on the Nile.
Yeah.
Death on the Nile had Betty Davis in it.
Yeah, exactly.
David Niven was on the Orient Express, I think.
Yeah. Peter Ustinov, I liked him a lot.
The reason for that is that we saw them so many times on bank holidays.
Yeah.
They used to be on at Christmas. They were non-threatening 2-hour films. Yeah, your mum and dad would sit down and watch, and you'd sit down with them, and
Yeah, and they've been redone again, haven't they? With
Kenneth Branagh's done them.
Kenneth Branagh's been doing them as well. Yeah,
I'll tell you what, they're fantastically looking on 4K.
Yeah, they always look
absolutely stunning on 4K.
But there's still something about those 70s films. Fantastic.
It's like anything when people start talking about Sherlock Holmes, I go, "Oh, it's Basil Rathbone."
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's often who you grew up with, isn't it? Really, I think
I always said that about Bond until recently.
Yeah,
I even said that last week. I said, "Look, most people that talk about Bond, they'll always talk about the one that they saw the most at the cinema or grew up with." So that mine would be Roger Moore. But the thing is, I actually do have a big appreciation of Sean Connery in that, even though I saw him less at the cinema.
Yeah,
he was a great Bond.
Yeah. I mean, he's always going to be my favorite because it was the first Bond film I saw.
Although I think you did turn around and say that one of your favorite ones though is George Lazenby, isn't it? With,
wow.
Majesty's Secret Service.
That is amazing.
He gets a bad rap.
Shouldn't do.
I will say that that's my favorite score.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Even I, who don't normally take much notice, absolutely love that theme tune.
It's
one of the best.
The music. I mean, basically, it's the main title. It's the first time the main titles didn't have. No, I think it was the second time. Second time the main titles didn't have a song.
Yeah.
But it had a song because it had it at the end.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Because it's "We Have All the Time in the World," which is what people regard as the main theme song to On Her Majesty's Secret Service, but it's not, because it's an instrumental by John Barry at the beginning.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Absolutely love it, because I think that's the second Bond film I saw at the cinema. That one, definitely, absolutely loved it.
I like the way that
I still say, even though I love Sean Connery, he perhaps made one of the worst Bond films, which is Diamonds Are Forever, which was just a total money grab. And, you know, even though it is Sean Connery, he's not bothered at all in that film. It's a terrible film. And I hate to say that because I love
they remade it with Never Say Never Again.
Yeah.
No, that's Thunderball, isn't it?
That's Thunderball, yeah. Again, it didn't seem a good idea to recap it. Thunderball's a good one. I enjoy Thunderball, but that is Diamonds Are Forever. The song is the best part of the film, the Shirley Bassey song.
Wow, yeah.
That's it. That's the best part of the film.
How many did she did 3, didn't she? 3 songs.
Yeah, she did obviously Goldfinger,
Moonraker.
Yeah, and
Diamonds Are Forever.
Diamonds Are Forever, yeah. And Diamonds Are Forever, because it was one of her most famous
She was down to do Skyfall, but she didn't do that. That went to Adele, didn't it?
Yeah, who actually does a good job on that. I quite like Skyfall song. I think it's a good song.
Yeah. Did you know that she composed that tune on Adele?
Oh, yeah, here we go. There was some joke bound to pop up there. Anyhow,
I'm available for bar mitzvahs. Go on.
Yeah, and we'd bar him. Certainly. Don't let him in. Bar him. Fist of the North Star, great manga.
Oh, it is manga. Fist of the North Star. I didn't like all that Sailor Moon bollocks, but Fist of the North Star, he punches really fast. It's really quite weird. It's really quite good, actually. Fist of the North Star.
Yeah,
I did like that. Yeah.
The Black Cauldron is one of my favorite animated movies. Yeah, that is a good one. Yeah.
Disney.
Yeah, I like that.
Isn't it? Black Cauldron, isn't it? Disney.
Yeah. It's traditional animation. Muckman Movies. Del, go out and buy Chuck Steele, Night of the Trampires. It's a rude, gory stop motion film animated in the same vein as an Aardman film. Oh, right. Incidentally, Christmas, there's a new Wallace and Gromit film coming out at Christmas.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah, I think many of the Aardman animators were involved.
Do you know, that sounds so much like Flesh Gordon to me.
Yeah.
Do you remember Flesh Gordon, that soft porn piece of shit?
Yeah.
With Ray Harryhausen type sort of like creature with penises for hands and things.
Oh, yeah. Now, I'm actually looking forward to Wallace and Gromit film. I know they've had to change the
Night of the Trampires.
Yeah, I'm not about Trampires. Oh dear. And then
I'll look that up.
Yeah. Tony Hawk says, I enjoy the Margaret Rutherford series of 60s Agatha Christie adaptations, like the comedy elements. Endless Night, 1972, is a good adaptation too with Hayley Mills. Oh, Hayley Mills.
Oh, yeah, but Margaret Rutherford to me, is that, yeah, I think it's right. That was Miss Marple, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yes, yeah.
Because I mean, again, Roy Budd, I think, did the music to that. He used a harpsichord.
Yeah.
As a theme.
Yeah.
It goes like that, isn't it? That's the that's the Marple theme. Yeah.
Oh dear. Let wish of this. Muckman Movies says, IP, man. It's pronounced IP.
No, it's pronounced it's pronounced it. It, not IP. It man.
It IP. Oh dear. Crouching, here we are. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
That's where I got it. Saul Smitherman came up with that one. I went,
yeah. Thank you for that. Yeah. Steve Wells, the Tiger Cage movies with Donnie Yen are my favorite, and the film Flashpoint. That's the martial arts ones, isn't it? Again, yeah. Flashpoint is great. I've only watched the first Tiger Cage movie. You reminded me to watch the sequels. Question: favorite non-Bond film by James Bond actor, i.e., Connery, Moore, Lazenby, Dalton, Brosnan, or Craig?
We'd be here till bloody midnight, wouldn't we?
Yeah, you'll just choose one Bond. I
Well,
think.
no, I mean Connery. I mean, I like. Well, there's so many. There's Outland, isn't there? We mentioned that earlier.
Yeah,
There's Zardoz. There's Marion and you know,
made Marion and Robin. Oh,
yeah.
well, yeah.
You know, there's so many. You know, I mean, there's Entrapment. There's Rising Sun. There's you know, I mean, Roger Moore. There's The Man Who Haunted Himself. There's Gold. There's you know, Lazenby. I'm not quite sure on that
No,
one.
I don't think he did.
There's Flash Gordon.
Yeah.
You know, Brosnan. Again, I'm not quite sure. I think did he do one called Volcano?
Yeah.
Daniel Craig that you've got. He did one of those Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe things, didn't he? The Golden Compass, wasn't it? All that sort of stuff.
All right.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just reeling off ones that are mine, but
yeah.
Lazenby, he was in Return of the Men from Uncle, the 20 Years Later affair. There you are, Lazenby.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, thank you. That'll do. Yeah. Stephen Mull says Mission of Justice starring Jeff Wincott, The Perfect Weapon starring Jeff Speakman, The Hunted starring Christopher Lambert, The Challenge starring Scott Glenn are good movies to check out. Oh, thank you, Stephen. Tony says, think I've only seen one other Lazenby film. Who Saw Her Die, 1972. A giallo set in Venice. For more, there's so many. Wild Geese, of course, is a contender.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's Gold. There's that one that's set on a oil rig.
Muckman Movie says Chuck Steele is an animated version of the American TV show Sledgehammer. Crikey, that's going back a bit. With lots of action and of course vampire tramps. Trampires. It's bloody hilarious. There we are.
You know, I'm always going to laugh with that word, trampires. I think that's great. Trampires.
Trampires. And then we've got here Andy makes Star Wars From Russia with Love has brilliant music. I'm not keen on You Only Live Twice. Connery looks bored in that as well. Oh, right. I think with me, it's I just love Donald Pleasance is in it as Blowfield.
Yeah.
It's the volcano. I just love those bases, and that is one of my favorite bases with the rockets going up and fantastic story.
They always took over. What was it? Soundstage 20, wasn't it, for Bond? They'd always put a bloody great big submarine and a water tank in there.
You can't beat it. It's love. This is what I won't go into a rant, but I could go in about Daniel Craig films now.
That's why
they longer have any blooming.
Isn't that why they call Soundstage 20 the James Bond stage? Isn't it? I mean, it's actually got 007 there.
Oh, well, there you are.
The building, hasn't it?
Yeah. Daniel Craig, we get none of that. It's just. There's no decent villains anymore. No,
can't remember the last time they filmed a Bond film in Britain. Christ, it's every country other than Britain.
Yeah.
If you want to be a complete bastard about it.
Gold is a good Roger Moore film.
Yeah.
The Anderson tapes. Oh God, I haven't seen that for ages. Yeah, it's a good Sean Connery film. Yeah.
I mean, he's done A League of Gentlemen, hasn't he? He's done.
Mine would be more in Wild Geese, of course.
Wild Geese.
You only needed to do one actor. There we are. Wind and the Lion is a good Connery role. I like that. Yeah, he does a good job as a Scottish Moroccan tribal leader. Fantastic.
I thought that said macaroon. I thought that said macaroon then.
Yeah. I want to see that one, Tony. Saul Smithman, Death Note is a great manga series. I've heard of Death Note.
No, do you know what? I have not heard of Death Note. I have not
I've heard
heard
people
of Death
say
Note.
that, all these animated fans, yeah. But I don't know anything about it, really.
See, when Akira came out, I was well into manga. I was, everything that came out that was, I wanted it, right?
Yeah.
Other than Sailor Moon, couldn't stand Sailor Moon. What the hell bollocks is all that?
Yeah.
And then you study up and you go, I've been knowing manga for years because there's Aqua Boy, Battle of the Planets, all of these things that I grew up were manga.
Yeah.
So amazing.
Yeah, I know Death Note is always talked about, I think, in manga series.
Well, they're all talking about this Titan now, aren't they? This,
yeah. Simos, Nomads, Live Wire, and Fourth Protocol are good Pierce Brosnan films. Oh, he's in the Fourth Protocol, is he? Oh,
yeah.
Is he a baddie in that? It could be. Yeah.
I just remember that coming out because the book,
a game came. It's Michael Caine, of course, is in the Fourth Protocol. Yeah, brilliant. Yeah.
See, because it, I mean, people consider it to be really boring because it's a book and the book is long-winded. But it came out with a game, and I watched the film, and then I got involved in the game. It was really quite good.
Yeah. Oh. Brosnan was in Dante's Peak, not Volcano.
Yeah, that was Tommy Lee Jones was in that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I knew it was a volcano-ish type film.
I know Dante's Peak. He's got Linda Hamilton in. I always take note of her films. Yeah, Linda Hamilton's in that one, isn't she?
I hated both films. I didn't. Well, I didn't hate them.
Yeah,
I disliked them.
You didn't go mad on them.
Yeah, I disliked.
Yeah. Daniel Craig, I'm not a big fan, not even top 10. I kind of agree with you. I'm not a fan of him.
The Golden Compass is a bit lame.
Yeah. And then Dante's Peak was great. Also, you see, he said it, Linda Hamilton. Yeah, we're thinking on the same lines, in it. Much better than Volcano, yeah.
I did, like I said, I wasn't impressed with Dante's Peak.
Yeah.
He was he in the Thomas Crown Affair remake?
Yeah, yes, he was, yeah. Who's the actress he was with in that one?
Renee Rousseau, isn't it?
Oh yeah, that's it. Yeah, yes, yeah.
And the original one was Steve McQueen.
That's right. Yeah.
I forgot who the lady was.
Yeah. Craig was good in Layer Cake. I've seen people always pop that film up before.
Yeah, but you see, this is the thing.
Film we got.
I'm not big into British gangster films, you know.
Yeah,
so
I've not seen it myself. And After the Sunset, our Thomas Crown Affair were good Brosnan's films. There we are.
I've seen After the Sunset. Yeah.
Yeah. Made Men, starring Timothy Dalton and James Belushi, is a good film. That's an interesting combination. James Belushi.
That's an 80s comedy crime thing.
One of the last comment. Can't take to Craig as an actor for some reason. No, I understand that totally. Yeah, it's with me. He's just not a Bond for me. But there we are. That's the last comment.
No, there is one more.
Everyone,
one more.
Another one. Oh, sorry, I found another one. Faye Dunaway. Yeah, Faye Dunaway.
Steve McQueen and Faye Dunaway.
Yeah, that's right. Faye Dunaway.
I wanted to get that one in because Richard hasn't commented before.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say thanks, Richard, because I couldn't think who it bloody well was.
Do you know, as Faye Dunaway, is she still alive?
Wow. Yeah, because I'm always looking at the obituaries and remembering, who died and who hasn't.
Yeah. She was good.
I'm supposed to remember with a Faye Dunaway's life.
Yeah. Faye Dunaway. I do remember her. Yeah. Yeah.
McMahon, you have made my night, as many others in here. Thank you so much for listening to
Tony
my
says,
crap.
Good night, all. And Andy makes Star Wars. Timothy Dalton in Flash Gordon.
I already said that one.
There we are. So I'd like to thank Delboy, as always, for making it great. I really enjoyed it. fantastic. And thank you for everyone here. There's 17 people in here watching at the moment. Thank you, every one of you, for watching us.
I just want to say sorry for my rants. I don't mean to. It's just.
But I hope you've enjoyed it, because we've enjoyed it.
Ian incites me with his rants.
Yeah. We've got to have a rant spot every week. We have to get it out. And
it's all done. By the way, if anybody hasn't guessed, it's all done in jest.
It's all in the best possible taste, as Kenny Everett would say. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not crossing my legs because I'm too old for that now.
We've got another one soon. Also, The Invasion is a good Daniel Craig movie.
It is.
Like an updated invasion of the Body Snatchers. That's just come out, hasn't it? Recently, an update. An upgrade on that.
Denny has just bought that.
Yeah. And we've got an here. Being a laugh, lads. Well, thank you. That's all we're happy.
Andy, it's an absolute pleasure to talk to you on here. It's absolutely brilliant. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Del. Oh, there's another comment.
Muckman's the only bastard that I have to
we want a Flesh Gordon backdrop next week, Del. They want Flesh.
See what I mean? He incites everything. This Muckman bastard comes up and says, "Right, we have a Flesh Gordon background now." The reason that background is up is because BFI have finally got Watership Down released, and it comes tomorrow for me.
There we are. There, we'll be hearing all about that on his blog. So thank you. Thank you, Delboy, as ever. I just let you say your normal farewell.
Salute, my friends. Thank you.
And all I've got to say is, I'll see thee again.